What's up, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of Game Time. This one promises to be one of the most cantankerous and fun and crazy Game Time episodes ever, that's for sure. I am the outlaw John Rocha, one of your hosts here, welcoming Jay Washington, who's battling a headache. How are you, Jay?
It hurts so bad.
That just sounds like a hangover, bro.
No, I didn't drink. No, it came out of nowhere when I hit the gym this morning, and it has not left since. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, you know, getting in shape ain't easy, Jay, at your age. And then the swaggy blurred is here as well. Winston A. Marshall, how are you, my man?
I am also fighting a headache, but I am hungover. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I woke up this morning like, oh, I'm all right. Then the slow head of that rumble, like almost like you hear the thunder in the back of the city, and you're like, uh-oh, here it comes. And then stood up and my stomach said, blah, 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 and I was like, oh, this is what we're doing today. Fuck you, Tom Brady. This is your fault.
And speaking of Tom Brady, look, I had to bring on somebody to be our fourth today who is a massive Tom Brady fan, a massive New England Patriots fan. He happened to be free, and I'm so excited for his debut on Game Time. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow faction mate in the Finstock Exchange, my brother in life, JTE. How are you, Josh?
Doing good, man. You know, I love that little intro music you have for this thing. It felt like 2 Chainz was about to drop any second. I was like, yo, this is like, I'm loving this beat. It's real cold, man. I like that beat.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Ward. He found it, man. Shout out to
and
Brian
I'm not
Ward.
hungover. I feel fine. I ate my weight in probably chicken wings last night, but outside of that, I exercised that demon this morning, and I'm good.
Can I ask y'all a question? Have y'all fucked with air fried fucking wings? Because I normally will, like, if I make them, I'll normally just bake them on a rack. But my girl was like, no, throw them in the air fryer. That shit was bomb as fuck, yo.
Really?
First of all, you're talking to the air fry king. I've been through like 3 air fryers in the last year. Here's what I'll say. You can cook them in air fryers. The best thing I feel my air fryer is good at is reheating the wings. So sometimes I'll buy like 12 wings from a place, eat half of it. Next day, when you reheat them in an air fryer, it's way better than putting it in the oven or the microwave. It tastes almost as good as when you first bought them.
Damn.
Wow.
There's a little air fryer tip for you.
Come for the sports talk, stay for the cooking tips.
Yeah,
I like that.
Gotta have wings when you watch those games, man.
I did. I got Pizza Hut, but yeah, I should have gotten wings. That'd been a smarter move.
I made chicken quesadillas. I just made quesadillas.
Oh, quesadillas. Okay.
No quesadillas. We pronounce our L's around.
Oh,
and I eat like the wrap.
Around where? California? What do you
Here is my house, my room. It's around here is where we do it. I just have my like wraps, like for regular sandwiches, and instead of tortilla, I just use the wrap as my shell. Man, makes me wear quesadillas.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. I like that idea. I like that idea. So you're cooking. You know, speaking of cooking, you was cooking last night. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. We're going to talk about all kinds.
I'm out already.
I'm out. Hey, great show, everybody.
Thanks. Take care. We'll see you later.
That was quick. Usually it takes an hour to lose the blurs, but they're within 5 minutes. But yeah. So we're going to get into all the things Super Bowl that happened last night. So many things to talk about coming out of the game, during the game, before the game, during the game, and coming out of the game for sure. But before we go forward, just reminding you all, please hit that like button as you're watching this episode. If you're watching it later, leave a comment. Comments and likes are really important. Also, your StreamLabs and SuperChat. StreamLabs address right there in the middle, over there. There we go. In the middle there. That's where it is. Or in the description of this video. Send in your comments, send in your chat. And, of course, in the SuperChats, we'll bring it all up here to discuss. So let's get into it now. So last night, definitely big game last night. We've been building towards it here on Game Time for sure. Covering the NFL every week, covering the playoffs. There were times, Jay and Winston, I'll go to you two guys first, obviously, but there were times we thought this season might be canceled, might not even happen. At the beginning, there were so many, right? There was right.
That was just the two. I told y'all from the jump. We were going through the whole
Jay
thing.
said people would have to die before, and notable people would have to die before we had a season canceled. But we thought for sure, Winston, when there were so many people getting these COVID diagnoses, so many games being moved around, that there was a real possibility that this season might not happen. And damn if it didn't happen, and we got ourselves a Super Bowl champion amidst all the COVID madness and people going crazy. The 25,000 people were there last night. Was it all worth it, though, in the end? Because we got a little bit of a wet fart of a Super Bowl, wouldn't you say?
No. I wouldn't call it a win for Super Bowl. No, because I think what we saw, honestly, was like really solid defenses. We still saw some of these crazy plays because like Mahomes, like it's one of those situations where Mahomes still had Mahomey magic in that motherfucker. It just didn't always connect. Like the one where he was going down and fucking someone put the meme of Ben Stiller and dodgeball when he was doing that side throw and shit to like trying to hit people in the air. And it hit homie right fucking here. He just couldn't get his hands up, but like he still made that accurate ass throw in situations. So like we didn't see hella points. Yeah. But like you still saw the two best quarterbacks in the league like go at it. Like Brady did what Brady does, and Mahomes did what Mahomes does. It just didn't work out. That's ultimately what this was.
That's also you have to bring up the injuries on Kansas City's starting offensive line really screwed them up. Yeah. You know, because, you know, again, people think it's simple to shift a person from guard to tackle. It's not. Those are two different positions. And having to lose two of your starters, that hurts because, yes, Tampa Bay's defense, their front line, their defensive front was amazing. But when you don't have the starters there to put that hold on them, you get Sean Barrett going around them. You get Ndamukong Suh go around them. You know what I'm saying? You get all this happening consistently. And that hurt a lot. So everybody's like, well, you know, Mahomes didn't have help. It's like, again, out of all times to have to play with replacements in your front lineup, it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They released the stat here that Patrick Mahomes essentially ran 456 yards, escaping a total for the whole game, escaping the rush the whole time. Jay brings up excellent points here. The idea that they're two missing tackles, the two tackles were missing for this game. One of their starting tackles went out after the AFC Championship game. That's a huge loss. And then we saw the first few plays. Tony Romo, listen, whatever you want to say about Romo during his career, he absolutely earns the kudos for being one of the best analysts, if not the best analyst in the game today. Him pointing out how the Tampa Bay was addressing these receivers by double teaming them constantly out in the flat. It was incredible that they were able to maintain this throughout. Were you surprised at how well the Bucs defense played against this Kansas City team that had pretty much been carving up everyone all year, 16-2 coming into the game?
I feel two different ways about it. One, the defense played amazing. I think anybody watched that. Mahomes was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, just trying to survive. But to me, what was really more surprising, especially after halftime, they didn't look like they adjusted much on offense to what the defense was doing. When Tampa started off, they were doing screen passes underneath the Gronk, underneath the Antonio Brown. They were trying different things to keep them from blitzing. Now, Tampa didn't have to blitz, but you could run some underneath routes. They barely ran the ball in the first half. Barely. Listen, you got to establish even a little bit of a running game if you're going to have any danger with your passing game. And I know it's harder to say in like second half because they're really far behind, they're down, then you really do have to, pass it. But even in that first half, watch it. They barely ran the ball. The only time they really got yards on the ground was when Mahomes was breaking out of the pocket. So I was a little shocked they didn't adjust the game because as a Patriots fan, back when, Brady and Belichick would go into halftime, they would adjust to whatever that defense was doing. And Todd Bowles' defense, like you said, safeties were way back. They weren't going to let Hill break anything deep. They weren't, but they left a lot of stuff open in the middle. Now, the linebackers played really well too on Kelsey. Now, I got to give them a lot of credit for that, but I feel like they could have done more with the running game and do some short passes, do some quick, slants, do something to like give yourself some breathing room.
But you can't when your line isn't the same. That's the problem. You can't. That running game was predicated on that offensive line they have had that whole season. And so when you don't have that same line, you got Edwards-Helaire trying to get these holes where this line has to try to make them that they don't know how to, they're trying to do, but these aren't the guys normally making these holes for him.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why they should do some small screen plays, do some quick slants. The Patriots, back when Brady had no wide receivers that could go deep, their passing game was their run game. They would throw basically lateral passes. They would do screen passes. They would basically try to get their running backs in the open on the right or the left. I feel like Kansas City could have tried to do something like that, but it's like they were always going for the home run ball or Kelsey down the middle. And after a while, you can only go to the well so many times. You gotta switch it up.
Yeah, it's great points you bring up, JT. And Winston, I go back to you. I mean, there were a number of dropped passes. Mahomes coming out of this game has nothing to hang his head about. Nobody can blame this loss on Mahomes. He was doing everything humanly and superhumanly possible to try to help this team win. And then you'd have Tyreek Hill dropping a sure touchdown pass, or Kelsey dropping a pass over the middle, or a couple of their running backs dropping passes because of deflections or that were close. He was doing all he could to get them in a position to win the game. And sometimes it looked like he was throwing it away, but he actually almost hit the receiver, especially that one where he was falling out of bounds. The receiver was out of bounds, but he could have caught that ball. It was insane.
And that's the thing. Like, let's look here. He threw the ball 49 times.
49 times, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's out here in these streets. Like, you know, he obviously targeted Kelsey and Hill combined 25 of those times.
Right.
But like, you're in a situation where you have all of these receivers here, and none of them got above 25 yards except for Hill and Kelsey. They were not handling business. Hardman got 6 targets and only caught 2 for 4 yards. You know, and a lot of that is from him. There was one in particular that I will never forget. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? He had the step on the defender.
Yes.
But he clearly didn't know what route he was supposed to be running.
Oh, when he ran it almost an interception?
Well, no, because he just kept running.
I know what I'm saying. It looked like it could have been an interception. I know
if the defender was paying more attention, he could have jumped that. But like, literally, that's when you're supposed to know your shit and turn the fuck around. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what else do you want this man to do? And I think that people are going to say, well, it's just like Jared Goff. Jared Goff only got 3 points. Well, here's the difference. 1, they at least turned something out of it. They did get 9. And 2, look at the way Mahomes was playing. And look at some of these insane passes he was lobbing up to his receivers and it gripped back. And that's not on him. The rest of this team failed him, on top of the fact we were talking about the O-line earlier, that we don't realize how badly this was affecting him one way or the other. So, like, all of that being said, this was sad to see because this is not the Chiefs at their best.
Yeah.
I would say this was the Buccaneers at theirs. Because, like, Brady played a really good game, but he didn't really do anything, if I'm being honest with you. Brady played, hear me out, JTE. What did this specifically was that Tampa Bay defense. Brady did exactly what Brady is supposed to do.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The people that won this game was that defense because they were all over.
And the referees.
Well, we'll address that in a second.
And the referees.
We'll address that in a second.
Because JTE, real quick, my one point, they eventually did, because of a penalty shit, they did get a chance to go back and score that touchdown. But look at how Kansas City stopped them at that goal line. They should have fucking scored a touchdown there, and they shut them the fuck down. So
they should have gave the ball to Fournette. I don't know why Jones is running the ball when you got Fournette who could like run through people. And
at least he knows to dive.
Also, you know, that guy did drop a wide open pass, and he's not a wide receiver. But a lot of times he's going to make that catch. But
doesn't do this.
Yeah,
at the goal line. Don't you just do this?
Yeah. And the defender actually knocked that ball out. It wasn't like he dropped it. He caught it for a second.
You're talking about the lineman.
The lineman. I'm talking about the lineman. Yeah. So that was a huge stop. There's no doubt about it. To say, I think Brady plays to what's going on around him in the game. He's not going to throw up big numbers. Like when he beat Atlanta, he threw over for 500 yards because he had to. This game, he didn't have to do that. By the time he went to halftime, it was run the ball, get first downs. And I mean, this whole offseason, they were all about the long ball. They would take some huge shots throughout this postseason. They barely took any huge shots this game. They didn't need to. They just marched down the field, kill the clock, keep Mahomes on the sideline as long as possible.
Yeah, these weren't long passes from Brady and you know, Gronkowski essentially playing the Travis Kelce part here for Tampa Bay in this late stage, you know, being talked out of retirement, coming out of retirement, walking into this situation and scoring twice thanks to Tom Brady here. You know, for you as a Patriots fan, JT, you must have deja vu all over again.
It felt like I was watching the Patriots.
I was just saying,
and then he played
touchdowns. He didn't play the Kelce role. He played the Gronk role.
Well, I mean, the fact that what Kansas City has been doing with Kelce throughout the playoffs.
Not even. You can't even say Gronk. You can't even do that. Gronk played what Gronk has been with Tom Brady all the time they played together.
But my point is that Kelce leads the receiving core for the Chiefs every week. This and Gronkowski rarely does, and this time it was Gronkowski who was leading.
I got you.
That's what I mean.
I will make the argument though why I think that happened, because again, you only had the one catch from Mike Evans. which I think we're starting to get to that point. I think we're starting to get to that point where the truth is coming out. Is Mike Evans good? Yeah, but he's mad overrated. Yeah, I think he's talented, but I don't think you put him in the conversation of the Michael Thomases, of the Metcalfs. Mike Evans is out of that conversation now, in my opinion. Right. Because this is supposed to be that game. Yeah. This whole playoff run he didn't. I know he was hurt, but like this whole season, it hasn't really necessarily been him. Yeah, like he would have a game or two, but
what I thought was crazy was Godwin didn't score, Evans didn't score. Gronk had the first two. Fournette, who came in mid-season, came like Antonio Brown. Everyone who scored a touchdown came in this year because they wanted to play with Brady. None of those guys that were on, Winston's
the year before. Were on the team last year. No,
who were on with Jameis Winston.
Winston. None of them caught any touchdowns are really a huge factor. It's kind of crazy.
You know what that is? That's one of those situations you're like, all right, we got this. And you get your ass beat by like the group of ninjas you're up against. And then the real heroes come like, all right, sit back, youngin. Let me show you how to do this shit. Brady and his old bunch. Brady and his old bunch. You brought in Gronkowski, brought in Fournette, you brought in fucking Brown. Like, let me show y'all youngins.
He had his own. He had two separate huddles. He had one huddle with Mike Evans and all. Yeah. He's like, so this is what we gonna do. Then he would go to Brown. He would go to AB, go to Gronk, and him like, so this is what we really gonna fucking do. Okay, I know they know.
It felt to me like what LeBron does. When you get LeBron, you also get James Jones. You get whatever you old ass people.
J.R. Smith.
He'll bring over everybody. Whatever. Like, he'll bring the whole. You got to bring the old crew coming in, and they always come in and have a chance to get to the finals for sure. And so it's felt like with Brady, this is what he was doing. You guys took a chance to come to Tampa Bay to be with me. I'm going to get you touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Fournette, 27-yard scamper. Brown on that weird, that whole weird drive in the second half with all those penalties. And then Gronkowski twice wide open. I mean, that shuffle pass was great to him, but then that wide open touchdown in the end zone was incredible. So you look at this situation, it's like all around, he just took care of his people who took a chance to come down to Tampa Bay and be a part of this whole thing. But let's address what Jay brought up. And Jay, I'll give you a first crack at this. Okay. The referees, a lot of people were complaining about the referees, not the Browns fans. They certainly were laughing at KC complaining about the referees, but a lot of people were complaining about these referees, some of these, what they call phantom pass interference calls or uncatchable balls. I didn't agree with it for the most part, but I'll give you a first crack at this.
There were several uncatchable passes that they were calling PI on. It was even the first. I think it was the first one that Matthew got upset about when he got rightfully pissed. When he was like, "Are you serious?"
Tyrann Mathieu, yes.
Yeah, when he was like, "Are y'all serious?" And they kept calling them. Now, people will say the holding calls that the offensive line had, KC's offensive line had.
Yeah.
There were some blatant ones, but at the same time, all of a sudden, throughout this entire playoff series, you've let them play. Yeah. You've let them play. And the flags were flying against Kansas City every chance, and they were never just small penalties.
Yeah.
They were getting moved the ball. They were getting major yardage off penalties getting thrown.
Right. Well, and this is a great... Go ahead. So throw in one thing, Winston, and you can chime in here on this. I was looking this up, and I was reading an article about these referees. This referee and his crew threw the most flags of any officiating crew in the NFL all season. So Andy Reid earlier in the week had said, no, I think it's going to be fine. He's going to let us play, blah, blah, blah. So you kind of had to feel, and you wonder, because Tom Brady is a master at this game. If Tom Brady had gone through, seen the stats, and knew exactly to add these kinds of things to the gameplay, to take these chances, to put these defenders in positions. I was reading an article in Yahoo, and he said how he was calling them late at night, called players on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers late at night and telling them statistics about the KC defense for the offense. So you throw all this, and maybe he figured out that the refs were going to be throwing these flags as part of the winning strategy. What do you think about all this, Winston?
I mean, in the same way that I always love to, because there's a lot of Schmodown fans here, I love to bring it up as an example, but I honestly believe that there is a means to letting the game work for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There are certain ways in like you allow certain things. So you do your research, not just on, the players and the game film. You do your research on the refs. If you know that this one ref has a tendency that if he sees someone doing a little, that might be a thing, Give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm getting a phone call that I have to answer.
No worries. All right, JT.
Yeah, let me take it over.
Yeah, you're a Patriots fan. You've been accused of getting the calls, Tom Brady, all those kinds of things. Yeah. Did you feel it was blatant last night, as Jay feels it was?
Especially when we talk about that one series, for me, the Mike Evans, I would have to give him that one, because you have Mike Evans who's could go up and get the ball. And that ball, if you
lay out, possibly.
he could lay out. I mean,
one against Breland, you talking about the one where they say Breland tripped him, and he
the trip one. I mean, listen,
Breland did kind of trip him.
He did.
Breland fell. He didn't trip him.
If you fall into the player who's going for the ball and you hit his foot and it trips him, I mean, it's got to be tripping.
I think it's unfortunate, but yeah.
I don't know whether he would have caught the ball, but you got to give him a chance to catch it. And I think when he hit his leg, he definitely fell before he had a chance to make it hit the ball. So I was okay with that one. The field goal, the guy was offsides.
He lined
idiotic.
up offsides. Yeah.
So that's
hard
to me. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because now you give him a first down. The Gronk one, which I believe was the next pass interference, to me, it doesn't really matter about the ball being uncatchable, because he hit him past the 5 yards and he kind of held him up at the goal line. And at that point, you're interrupting the receiver's route. So it doesn't really matter if the ball is overthrown, because the flag's thrown right there before the ball's probably even thrown. So to me, I'm like, yeah, you got to get to the 1 yard line. They weren't like obviously super blatant where you're just like, how the hell did you not get that? They're definitely a 50-50 kind of call. But listen, you got to – I wasn't angry with them. And it's not because I was rooting for Tom. I was just like, okay, I could see both sides. Why one side would be like, no way, and the other one's like, of course.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm watching the game again. I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan. I've rocked with the Bucks before, but I didn't have a dog in the fight. Let's say that. I didn't have a dog in the fight. And I'm looking at how you're calling PI on one side of the ball, and when the same thing is happening literally on the other side of the ball, you're not calling it.
Was it happening on their side?
Yes, it was some pass interferences that was a couple times you would see Hill and them like, are you
right? This also feeds into what a lot of Green Bay Packers fans felt after the NFC Championship game, right? How some of these calls were being called for pass interference for the Bucks, but these same calls weren't being called when the Bucks were doing it to the Packers, right?
I agree.
I think this is now we saw a little bit of what of that specter being raised during these calls. I will say the Evans one, I don't think is wrong. He fell into him. I think Evans could have laid out. It wasn't 10 yards ahead of him. It was maybe 2 or 3 yards ahead.
It wasn't rolling out of bounds.
He could have. The end zone one, I had an issue with, because I thought that was within the 5 yards and it was just a receiver jostling with a defender. I didn't think that was necessarily a pass interference call, but they were already down there near the end zone, already near the goal line already. So
which call are we talking about? Sorry,
the one in the end zone, the pass interference one where they called on Matthew when he was supposedly obstructing. I thought that was just like a blam, and then boom, he was past him. So that call seemed to be a bit suspect. But I don't think the tripping one was. I think that he falls into him. That's the game. You fall into a guy who's going for a ball. You're going to get.
Again, the offsides is the big one.
Yeah,
I think we'll all go off the offsides. That was one that was a major shift, because instead of kicking a field goal, they go down and score.
Also, Jay, doesn't this bring up shades of the AFC Championship game against the Patriots 2 years ago, where that Kansas City defender lined up in the neutral zone and gave Tom another chance? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. I mean, all I was saying is that you use the things to work towards you. That's it. You don't cheat, but if you find ways to, like, I remember back when I actually went to grade school with Ty Montgomery. And so he was on the Packers at the time, and like was paying enough attention to the rule book that the kickoff happened. He went out of bounds and then touched it while he was still out of bounds, and that made the kick an illegal kick that was kicked out of bounds by doing that. That's not cheating. That's knowing the rules and having them work towards you. In the same way that, like, it's one thing if you're doing some shit with, like, we were joking about the hedge fund motherfuckers that lost all that money. It's one thing if you're fucking people over. It's another thing if you just know a particular system and you're doing it within the grounds of it and not fucking someone. You're just using the rule book to work in your advantage.
Right.
That's Tom Brady is the master of that. There's a reason why he doesn't have to throw for 500 yards every game. Is sometimes he knows, fine, these dunk passes will work. Fine, I know that this ref is going to call this every time we do a move this way, so I'm going to do that. That's what actually makes him great, is he knows this game upside down, backwards, and forwards. And I would argue that's why Bruce Arians now finally has that chip. Is because he teamed himself up with somebody that knows the game better than anybody else.
Well, and the thing is, you look at this Kansas City Chiefs thing, and so many things went wrong here for this to happen, right? The old specter of Andy Reid and his time mismanagement, his timeout mismanagements, his play calling, all of it that was gone last year because he was playing against a young coach and a young quarterback and was able to get the victory no problem in the Super Bowl. Now playing against a veteran coach, a veteran quarterback, Andy Reid looked like, once again, the choking dog thing came back to hang around his neck. Yes, he does have a chip, but he made a lot of mistakes last night.
Also,
the end of that
he is dealing with one. This is one thing we all keep forgetting. The number one thing. His son is in a car. Like, again, I understand.
What happened to his son?
Britt Reid was in a car crash that has injured like 3 girls.
Yeah.
How long ago?
Yeah, this 2 days before. 2 days before the Super Bowl.
Something like that, yeah.
Before they left KC, his son was in a 3-car accident. 2 little girls. One's in critical condition right now, 4 and 5-year-old. He hit the car, and the cop said, this is according to ESPN, that his eyes were bloodshot and that he smelled of alcohol. And that when the policeman asked him if he'd had anything to drink, he said, I'd had 2 or 3 drinks tonight and some Adderall. And he got in a fucking car. You can't tell me that the karma of that doesn't affect the team in some way.
Because he's he's the linebackers coach.
He's a linebackers coach. Yeah,
he's not only is he Andy Reid's son, he's the linebackers coach.
Yeah.
So again, we talk about coaches going in, and yes, we all will say people have personal issues, whatever they're dealing with going into the Super Bowl. This is very much true. But the fact of the matter that Andy Reid's son is, because people are still gonna talk no matter what. They're gonna like, oh, what Mahomes did, what Tyreek Hill did, what Travis Kelce does, blah 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 blah. They're gonna go through all those. But when it comes down to it, they're gonna be like, so how do you feel about Britt not being here? How about your son? This, that, and your son. Like, okay, that's one thing. Again, also we have to talk about the fact Patrick Mahomes playing with the worst case turf toe that they just said an hour or 2 before the game he was going to get surgery at the end of the season.
I gotta say this about the turf toe though. Just for the eyeball test, he looked like the old Mahomes to me. He was running around.
Some of those passes,
like you said, some of those passes were. Listen, who knows what they put in his foot right before the game? He probably didn't feel a thing in that toe. Because to me, watching the game, I was like, he doesn't look like he's hobbling.
No, that's what I'm saying. He looked like Lawrence Taylor in Any Given Sunday when he was like, "Yo, I just need this so I can get my bonus." I need to get my bonus. That's what he was like. But then when he got folded in like the third or fourth quarter with a 3 to crush him, and he had to get down and get up, he was like, y'all ready for another play? I was like, oh, take him out, Jesus.
Yeah, it looked bad. He was fumbling around for that football after he got hit like Tyson looking for his mouthpiece against Buster Douglas. It was bad. Yeah,
I think the one thing we got to talk about before the first half is those timeouts that
please, let's talk about it.
The one thing I don't understand about these last 2 games, it's like these coaches forget that they're playing against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
If I'm Green Bay, I am not going to punt the ball with 2 minutes left, giving the ball back to Tom Brady when all he needs is a first down. You take that 4th down shot with Rodgers, and if you don't make it, at least Brady.
Rodgers,
at least if you don't make it, Brady's on like the 5-yard line, and he's not going to risk passing it as much. So I don't know what that was an idiotic thing. And then for Andy Reid to extend that drive by taking timeouts, hoping he will get the ball back so Mahomes could do some of his magic. But you got to remember who you're playing. You got Tom Brady there. Do not give this guy 2 extra possessions to get in scoring range. I just don't understand.
Here's what I think a lot of people forget. Well, a lot of people think of. This whole season has been testing. Is it Brady and Belichick or just Brady?
Yeah.
And so you're testing that. Is it Brady? Can his Brady Arians combination be just as dominating as Brady Belichick in these scenarios? We're not talking to season. We're just talking about in this type of scenario.
I think it could be. I think it could be said a million times over that Belichick is probably the GOAT football coach. I wouldn't call him the GOAT coach. I think the GOAT coach is either it has to be Phil Jackson, and like a close second would be Popovich. But I do think that he's in that top 3 greatest coaches ever. And that mind you, I'm not even counting like, soccer. And then that's probably a whole different conversation. But like, it's definitely up there, right? But let's be honest. the reason why Belichick is actually in that conversation the same way that Phil is in the conversation he's in is because look who you played with.
He
played with Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player to ever play, and now people are making the argument, and it probably can honestly be said, maybe the greatest athlete, honestly, maybe the greatest athlete in American sports.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan has never lost a championship or a finals game.
And he's never been to 10
Michael
Super Bowls.
Jeffrey Jordan has never lost. You need to
stop. You're standing because you're a fucking Chicago boy.
I'm not saying because I know what you're saying. Brady's been to 10, LeBron's been to this, Kobe's been to that. Michael and has never won lost.
7, and he just went and did it with a whole other team that was in the fucking gutter. Michael went to the Wizards, and did they ever even sniff of any sort of playoff victory? Come on, dude.
Let me tell you, as a Wizards fan, we didn't. We did not. No.
The biggest difference.
I understand. Yeah. Go ahead, JT. Go ahead.
Now I'm supporting both of you guys here. The biggest argument is, and this is also like something you would compare Michael Jordan to LeBron, the game tape on the opportunities that Brady had by playing to 43 allows him to be in all these games.
Yeah,
Jordan left early. He that dude could have stayed. He even said he could have. They probably could have won another one if he stayed. Now he did come back with the Wizards, and that was really just to get some ticket sales for the Wizards. He wasn't really going to come back and win a championship. But for what Jordan did with those 6 championships in 8-9 years, there's always that unknown of if he kept playing until he was almost 36.
He hadn't gone to play baseball.
You were talking about somebody who left early. We could have seen greatest out of him. Bill motherfucking Murray in Space Jam. He came in and played one.
Well, I'll see y'all later.
Motherfucker came in and played one motherfucking game, and then one quarter, not even a quarter, he played a minute of basketball. Just stunted on the Monstars and then retired. You know what I'm saying? So it's
just hard, man.
You do realize he probably gonna play again in Space Jam.
But I mean, this is a fair point because you look at Phil Jackson in New York, he absolutely shit the bed, and you look at Bill Belichick this year with the New England. As I've said on the show, if I was Bill, I would have found my way out of New England, gone to San Diego. That's a young kid. He revitalizes you. You've got great defense. You've got a good running back. You've got good receivers. You could have stepped right in a situation like Brady stepped into Tampa Bay, essentially with a team that was already ready-made to win. Gronkowski said that after the game. He goes, I was so surprised at how focused this team was on the first day I showed up for these off-season workouts in a park. I saw how driven these guys were and how talented they were. It was a shock to me they hadn't gone to the playoffs the year before. Yeah. And so he knew this team was ready-made. And all Brady did was bring in these components. And they got touchdowns, but really it was everybody else that was feeding off Brady and doing what they do. And he had 201 yards, 21 of 29, 2 touchdowns, pretty chill game, or 3 touchdowns rather, pretty chill game for him overall, but he didn't need to do much. It wasn't like Peyton being carried by the defense against the Panthers. This was, he understood what he needed to do. He took what the defense gave him. He's an old man now, popping threes from the outside. He don't need to drive to the rim. He's doing his thing, and he gets the victory. 7 Super Bowls out of 10 tries. You could argue he could have won all 10. Honestly, he could have won all 10, and the conversation would be completely over about who the greatest sports athlete is ever. But, it's incredible to win 7 of them, and he's the first player to do it by going to a new team and leading them to a title and doing it at home, essentially in their home stadium. Pretty incredible to see what he was able to do overall.
So there's a couple things I want to address that I'm seeing in the comments, about stuff. I do think that there is a conversation to be said about Serena being the actual GOAT athlete. But if we're talking about the 3 majors, so basketball, football, and baseball, if that's where we're going, I think you would have that argument potentially about Brady taking that in that regard. Obviously, now if you're talking about just influential, so both performance and what they've done influence, nobody touches Michael Jordan. Let's be 1,000% honest about that. The man changed what sports mean to people. He changed what Black people mean to the world. No one touches Michael for that, and I will 100%. Always say that. And that is game blouses. You know what I'm saying? But it has been proven time and time again. As you see the dynasty runs that happen in basketball, it is infinitely harder to win the Super Bowl and multiple times, let alone back-to-back, than it is to do it in basketball. Just because if you get a solid chemistry kind of going with the coach and you're starting 5 and a couple pieces off the bench, you're good. Look at what the Warriors did. Look at what the Bad Boy Pistons did. Look at what Jordan did. Look at what the Miami Heat did. Look at what the Spurs did. Look what the Lakers did. You just need to have a core group and you can keep making that shit happen. That is not promised in football.
Right, you're right, Winston. And the crazy thing about this is Tom is so uber focused on the game. It is his lifeblood. He does not eat a donut. He does not there is no breaking from his pattern, from his regime. He kicked out Gisele Bundchen, who's arguably one of the most beautiful women in the world, for 2 weeks, and his kids. They were not allowed in the house while he was preparing for this Super Bowl. This is the kind of focus
the spice melange.
This is the kind of focus that you get from Tom Brady, and yet he's able to he's not one of these guys like Michael who was running around cheating on Juanita all over the fucking country, or these other people. Like, he is so uber focused on what he has to do. I'm telling you, it's hard to balance the personal life and the professional life and be successful at both. And somehow he's able to do it. Yes, I know the Bridget Moynihan stuff some people have issue with. I totally understand that too. But still, being able to balance it the way he has, it's a really rare thing. And I want to throw in this too. To prepare for the Bucs, playing the Bills and playing the Browns do not get you ready for the Bucs. The Buccaneers played the Packers and the Saints. Yeah, watch football day, but the Packers and the Saints on the road. They were battle tested going in to play this game at home, as we said.
How funny is that?
I think that helped.
How funny is that? They were on the road the whole playoffs to play the Super Bowl and
win at home.
That's fucking crazy.
You had to go through Breeze and Rodgers and Mahomes to win it all. Like, that's
okay. That was one thing I saw people said. That's something on your resume. The top quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
this was literally
Breeze, Rodgers, Mahomes.
My only thing that I think I had, because Mahomes was still balling out. Like let's be real, even though he didn't.
And Heineken.
The one thing that I would say though is that let's be honest. You were not playing Drew Brees. You were playing his shadow of a former self. But you were not playing Mahomes and his O-line that does what they do. You were playing, like you said, a shadow of that offense.
But you beat the MVP.
Well, I get it. I think the only one that I'll give him is Rodgers. That's the only. Because, yes, I'll give him that. But come on, literally look at what Drew Brees was doing. That was not Drew Brees, bro. That was not Drew Brees.
But man, he beat Rodgers and Lambeau. That's a bad man right there.
Yeah,
that's Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen, I'm saying about Tom Brady. Yeah. He's a bad man. I'm sorry.
Mama, there go that man. Let's do some Streamlabs and Super Chats here on Sega. Olusegun Yellow. I hope I say that. It says this Super Bowl was kind of disappointing. I mean, Mahomes balled out, but damn, it felt like he had no help. It was like watching Super Bowl 50 all over again. But hey, congrats to Brady. He played well and won himself the MVP. That's true. He has more MVPs than any other player in Super Bowl history. Well, you go to 10 of them, you're going to get more than anybody else if you win 7 of them. But pretty incredible, that's for sure. Oh, Jay, what was it? Are you upset?
Nothing. I just was like, if you keep again, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Connor Pearson Ward says this game was a tale of two defenses. Tampa's was unstoppable, and the Chiefs' D lost their cool too quickly. Yeah, let's address that. You mentioned earlier, Jay, Tyrann Mathieu, like the plays, the calls that were going against him, but he was getting in Tom Brady's face. He was going back and forth. You don't do that to
what
Tom.
An idiot.
That's a mistake. Tom loves nothing better than to be poked and motivated even more to win. All right. And so
I took that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But see, this is what I'm saying, Jay. We're talking about the most influential athlete. It's definitely, how much has Michael given us? Crying Michael. He's given us, I took that personally. He's given us fucking Air Jordans. He's given us the fucking Republicans buy shoes too. He's given us He's given us Space Jam. Like, this motherfucker has given so much to the culture. Just to the culture as a whole. And nothing can ever take that from Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Period.
Be like
nobody can take that from him.
Yeah, JT, speak to that. I mean, you don't mess with. I remember the Steelers talking shit to Brady, and he went out there and got in their face after he beat them in the playoffs. Right? He lives for this shit.
Yeah, he's similar to Jordan, in a lot of ways. To me, what Jordan and Brady, what they do, they elevate players around them to be better players. Yeah, and they do it in different ways. Michael Jordan will get in your face, talk a bunch of smack and embarrass you. He'll do whatever he can. He's like, you're not on my level, get out of the room. Brady's not quite like that. He's more like this, he'll be there to help you. He was like you said, he was texting players like game tape. He's like, hey man, look what this guy could do. That's the way he lifts everybody and makes them. And when you play with somebody like Jordan or Brady, you just have to step up to the plate because there's going to be no excuses. Neither of those guys will take any excuse. So either play to your potential or, go somewhere else.
I mean, the way he was looking at that young receiver who dropped the ball that he threw in the third quarter, he was waiting for him off the sideline. I was like, oh, I wouldn't even run back I would just go in the tunnel and leave the
he was yelling at the coach at one point, saying,
he was yelling. Arians,
they wanted to change a play, and he was like, no, we'll stick with this one.
They're up 31 to 6, and he's still tossing the fucking ball 30 or 40 yards down the field.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter.
Because he knows who he's playing against.
Yeah, well, still in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes
let's
left,
be real.
He was throwing passes.
He know who he playing against, and so he know exactly who he playing with. He like, yo, I can, it might be 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
It might be, we have a 22-point lead, but there is record of him, Mahomes coming back from 24 down. Granted,
he literally did it last Super Bowl.
He did it last Super Bowl.
That's why I was like, honestly, we got to the third quarter, and I was like, are we about to see a Falcons collapse right now? Because how sweet would that be to see Brady on the other end of this and to have this complete total shutdown? And then my heart got broken after every possession. I was like, come on, Mahomes, come on. Remember,
I felt the opposite.
We have seen 3 black quarterbacks ever win the Super Bowl, and not one has won 2. And so I was out here in these streets like, please, Jesus, just let him do this. Like Kermit the Frog. You'll be back.
It's so funny that you said the Atlanta game, because you do start thinking about that when it's like 21-6 or something. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, it's Tom Brady. This is not Matt Ryan. There's no way he would let that happen. I just can't believe he would ever let something like that happen. So I was just like, there's no way. It's Brady. He will run the ball himself before he gives that ball up. Yeah. And another thing, if the score was 60-3, Brady will not come out of that game. I can't tell you how many Patriot games I watched where we're up by like 40 points. There's like 3 minutes left, and Brady's still in there under center, throwing plays, getting tackled. I'm like, why is he not on the bench? Because he refuses to come out. You would have to drag him off that field. Yeah, he doesn't care. He wants to compete. It may be one of the most uncomfortable things, but he's one of these pretty fucking dudes who is great at what he does, and he has that Michael Jordan fire. Because remember, he was a 6th round draft choice, so he has found
that personally.
He took that personally. No, he did.
Somebody told me. Somebody tried to come to me in my in a comment on something I've said on Twitter, and they were like, "Well, Brady went to the Super Bowl in his first year." I was like, "After being a backup for how long for Drew Bledsoe? Like, that's not act like. Can we not act? Because some people want to act like Tom Brady came in the league and immediately went to the Super Bowl.
The only people you talk about is like what Magic Johnson did that, and not only went to the Super Bowl, went to the NBA finals, but I think he won league MVP that year too.
Yeah,
or he just won finals.
Yeah. MVP. Well, Roethlisberger took him in his first year. Took the Steelers to the Super Bowl in his first year. He was one of those rare quarterbacks.
But he was part of with that steel curtain defense when he came in. Right. That was when they had that steel curtain defense when everybody was like, if this defense fucks you, there's nothing you can do.
Right. Exactly.
Because you had a defense that not only was stopping plays, but was getting pick sixes like it was regular offense.
Yeah, with Palomalu.
Yeah, with Palomalu getting pick sixes like it's the quarterback to another receiver. Like that was it. I mean, I'm not taking away from what Roethlisberger did in his rookie year. I'm not taking away from.
Why are you trying to get us? Why are you trying to get us canceled? Why are you trying to get?
How am I getting you canceled off something that's true? Okay,
you don't know if that's true. You weren't there. You didn't know if that happened or not. There's been accusations. I'm just saying.
There's multiple for multiple people. Okay,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
Smart.
All right. Chris Taylor says this could be crazy, but I see Tampa Bay versus Kansas City in a rematch at next year's Super Bowl. Well, this is true. Listen, everybody thought this was the passing of the torch, right? The young lion, but people forgot there's still fight in the old Lions, man, when they're champions. And you saw it here. And yes, it worked out a certain way, but he still did what he needed to do to win this game. Do you think this is a possibility that Tampa Bay can come back and get into the Super Bowl?
Not if Brady don't come back.
I think you think Brady's going to retire? No way.
He announced it. He announced it at the end of the game. He's like, we're running this back.
Yeah. Okay, so he can announce it.
He probably should have done that. I'll tell you why. I get the wife first. No, he's got. I mean, I know he's got that competitive fire, and that's just what's going on with him. But like, you don't get the opportunity to go out on. Very rarely do you get the chance to like. And I want it all, and I rode out into the sunset. Not only have you set a record that no other player is going to break. Let's be honest. Nobody's getting 7 Super Bowls. Right. That's not going to happen again.
Right.
That genuinely is not going to happen again. He should honestly. That should have been like And I'll show you I didn't even need Belichick. Shouts out to New England. Drop the mic,
and walk off.
I disagree. Listen,
why? So that he can get back. He can potentially not make the playoffs or get bounced in the first round again.
But that's Brady.
Did Muhammad Ali win his last fight and say, "I'm done, I'm leaving"? No, he ended on the mat.
Yeah, because he couldn't. Never mind.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, no.
His last 3 or 4 fights, he's knocked out.
You remember JTE? You know the quote, sir. Either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself get knocked out on the motherfucking pavement and get left there.
Here's the problem.
The only reason he came back was because remember last season his very last pass was an interception at pick 6, and he did not want to leave the league. He did not want to be that to be the reason you remember the last thing he did. So he comes back, he wins. Okay, congratulations, you did it. If I'm Tom Brady, I'm not going to press my luck like this.
No way. You're not Tom Brady then. You're not Tom Brady.
I could disagree with both of you more. First of all, this was his first year in Tampa. He didn't really start jiving with his offense and the coaches.
Jiving?
Really getting it together.
Until maybe the 10th or 11th game of the season. That's when they really started to hit their stride. Yeah.
So now no offseason, no preseason. Now you got a whole year with this team. The whole team's coming back. Gronk even said he's coming back. You're literally going to be with the same team, and you're going to know it better. Everyone's going to be on the same page more. Right. Like, they improved throughout the season. The fact that he did this in one season.
Look, hold on. I just need to know what Antonio Brown going to do for the next 6-7 weeks. Because that's going to be – because like I said that, I told people on Twitter, I was like, if y'all thought he was reckless before IG, wait till you see him now.
But all I was going to say is, though, I hear what you're saying, JT, but, like, remember a couple of things. First of all, as football is, yes, there's a lot of skill involved, but there's a lot of luck. He went up against broken ass fucking teams to make this ride. I'm telling you, if Drew Brees is even remotely what he looked like before the injury earlier in the season, Drew Brees eats that shit up. The Saints defense had Brady's number. It's just all it took. If Drew can't throw further than 3 fucking yards, then you gotta hope you're digging.
Well, that's what happens when you break. That's what happened when you break 11 ribs.
Yeah. First of all, this is the NFL we're talking about. If your team, no team is complete by the end of the season. Yeah. Every team is dealing with injuries. And Green Bay was the big
injury. What was the big injury in Tampa Bay?
That's what I'm saying. If you're lucky enough to get all the way there. They were lucky. I'm not saying they weren't lucky.
Or Mike Evans had injuries.
They went to Green Bay, and Green Bay was 100%. They were on the same level, and they were at home. So to me, you take your shots. Listen, we won a Super Bowl without Gronk. I mean, we won the Super Bowl without Gronk against Atlanta. Sometimes your star player is not going to be available.
That has nothing to do with
Atlanta. At the end of the day, you can't do that anymore.
Here's the crazy part of it.
Here's the crazy part. Atlanta has proven to be because Atlanta has proven to be Atlanta since then. They're like, this is just an Atlanta thing.
I agree. I'm just saying, if you lose Brown, it's not going to make or break this team.
Yeah,
I think this team is built strong enough, and they have enough people. Like, there's not one player they could lose unless it's Brady, where you're going to be like, they're out of it.
Yeah, that defense looks like ready-made, and they played well last year. It was Jameis throwing 30 interceptions that screwed them over in the long run. And you never know. And you're right, Jay, to wonder about Antonio Brown. That's absolutely a fair concern to have. My concern is this. I think they don't give a shit about Antonio, whether he comes back or not. I think they're going to start. I think free agent receivers are like, oh, wait a minute. I can go play with Brady. He's still playing at a relatively good level, great level. Mm-hmm. Why don't I go down there? I mean, Marvin Jones, we're hearing these rumors that he's going to go with Matt Stafford to fucking LA. I would turn the hell around and go to Tampa. Why? You're an upgrade already over an injured Mike Evans or Conway. Like, you go in there and you become the premier receiver. That's certainly possible. You saw what he could do with Randy Moss. He almost went undefeated until they met those Giants. So there's possibilities here. In this whole situation. What do you think, Winston?
I was going to say, and this again for the nerds in here, I mean, like what Brady's doing is he looks like old man Bruce in Batman Beyond. You know what I'm saying? Can he punch with the same level as like top tier Batman? No. but the motherfucker is such a master. He knows exactly how to manipulate his opponent to win, even with a fucking cane. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out here in these streets talking about bitch, like just like. That's
but you watch him like throwing these long balls. He doesn't look like Breeze, who's like the ball's wobbling in the air. Like,
that's again
11 broken ribs.
Yeah, I get it. I'm saying though, I watch Brady, and I'm not like, oh, this guy's losing arm strength or he's losing accuracy. Like
you got to be able to breathe.
I don't know. Yeah, but Tom Brady has found a way, except for that one injury-shortened season when he's got his knee knocked out in the first game. He has been able to stay relatively healthy, and he's been crunched a few times, certainly, but for whatever reason, he's able to avoid major injury. You never heard him cracking 11 ribs. There's just something about his preparation.
The best ability,
give him credit for that.
Best ability is availability.
I agree with that, and I'll tell you, this is the one thing that I've always found about Brady, and I would not be surprised if we found out about this one day, that Brady is out here in these streets telling his linemen, every play that y'all don't let them touch me, that's another car.
Yeah, why not?
That's another summer home. Like he's up there being like, here's a jet ski, motherfucker. So like every time he goes, and every time they do touch me, I will come to your house and fuck your wife. Like he just like that's so motherfucking motivation, bro.
First of all of a sudden, so you said what you said is a lineman, they go home, Bucks just lost. All of a sudden, it's a ring at the doorbell. It's 12:15. Your wife is like, honey, who's at the door? Well, I forgot to tell you something, baby. Listen. It is like literally just like Tom's coming through and
no, but I can see all the linemen being like the woman in the Alexa commercial and being like, tell me about how my husband let you get sacked today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when she was seeing Michael B. Jordan.
Don't dim the lights. Don't dim the lights. No.
Don't dim no damn lights.
Don't dim no damn lights. Oh my
God.
That commercial killed me. That commercial killed me, bro.
That's my favorite one of the night. Favorite one.
Because it wasn't none really. I mean, when you think of that,
all I'm literally saying, it was a joke. Some people are saying I went too far. I apologize if I offended people. What I'm saying is Brady
said you went too far. Not some people. One person.
It doesn't matter. My point is, Tom Brady has some sort of connection with his linemen because they're not even necessarily the best linemen in like the league. Even with the Patriots, we know that Brady's one real struggle. He is not that mobile. He's like mobile enough, but he is not that mobile. So whatever he tells them or motivates them or whatever the fuck he does with those linemen, he specifically has that set up so that he does not get touched. Period. So there has to be some sort of major motivation there.
Also, he reads the defense. He knows when they're going to blitz, and like if he's like, "Oh, this guy, they got a guy coming off, a cornerback's going to blitz me," he'll yell one of his receivers, "I need you to cut inside for a quick slant." Like he reads the defense, which makes it so he doesn't get hit as much. I mean, that's part of his game is the intellectual. It's crazy to me. I think Bosa, when they played against the Rams, there was like, they do the mic'd up, and he was on the sideline like, this guy gets rid of the ball so fast. It's unbelievable. He just knows what we're going to do before the ball snap. And he always audibles to exactly what will get him out of that situation. Yeah, and I think that's what brings him to another level.
Dude, you're right. He's Neo in the Matrix, man.
He's incredible. Seeing code. At this point, he's seeing code.
But you know what's
happening the whole time.
You know what makes me sad, and I think that real talk, and I've joked about this, but I kind of mean it, and you're seeing it in Tony Romo as a commentator. If Tony wasn't so fucking injury prone, and you had given him a coach to actually lead him, Tony could have done some similar shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you go and look at those plays, Tony would do things that Brady does, and it's kind of fucking crazy. But again, that motherfucker was like softer than some matchsticks, bro. Like, you breathed on Tony. He was out. He was out so much, and it made me fucking sad. And then the second thing was, again, you gave him a Belichick, you gave him a Bruce Arians, you gave fucking Romo Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett. You know what I'm saying? And no defense to even
you said that with so much hate and disdain in your heart.
Bitch, because you took somebody that genuinely was the same way with undrafted, found a way to come under Drew Bledsoe and take over the starting job and did some magic fucking shit, but it just didn't play out for him because he just did not have the proper support
I just like how you started the whole conversation with "bitch."
Well, his destiny was to be a great commentator. That's his destiny. WBC says average release time is 2.3 seconds of Brady. That's insane. I don't even get that on Madden. I'm still backing up on Madden at 2.3 seconds. That's insane. Let's see, just some more Streamlabs through here. Please, people, keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. We got another hour left in the show. More to talk about for sure. Roberto Arsenal says now you can say Brady won the war against Bill. Maybe. Bill the GM blew it. Byron Leftwich will be a head coach in 2022 for sure. And shout out to Kevin Harlan's call of the streaker during the game. That's for sure.
Put your pants on, man.
And it brings up an excellent point. Roberto does when you look at Todd Bowles was the defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. Byron Leftwich was the offensive coordinator, and on the other side, Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. So
look at them coaches all together for just the Buccaneers. Boy, that was so much black excellence winning for the Bucs. When Bruce Arians was like, "This ain't me. This them." He was so quick when he got his speech. He was like, "This is them." Do not, because no, I know what y'all gonna say on Twitter. Nope, not me, them.
I wonder in the end, though. I mean, Todd Bowles was a coach of the Jets for a while. Maybe some people are just, I've said this before, some people are just better coordinators than they are head coaches because it's difficult to get into a good situation. Then again, you have to factor in the Jets are a dumpster fire of an organization. We'll see what Saleh does there. We shall see. But I think Bieniemy, I think now at this point, there's maybe an even stronger conversation about Bieniemy taking over for Andy Reid. I mean, those mistakes he made last night with the timeouts, that's old school Philly Andy Reid. Everybody knows that Andy Reid. So you wonder if maybe there's a stronger push at this point in the offseason to maybe hand the reins over to Bieniemy, even though Reid signed a 5-year extension, I think, after the Super Bowl last year. So this is an interesting situation, but there is certainly a lot of, finally, you're getting more black men getting opportunities to be coaches in big situations and lead these teams to these positions. So you got to give a shout out to that for sure.
I just wanted to say, so here's the thing. We talk about players coming back, right? We always talk about that. But a coaching staff that is as amazing as a Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich, all these people that have played the coaching staff, they are essential to the team's win as well. So, yes, of course, we all look at it like, yo, Byron Leftwich should get an HC job, so should Todd Bowles, et cetera, et cetera. The question becomes now, if you pull one of them out, because, again, if you pull Todd Bowles out, that defense is not the same. We already know this.
Yeah.
You put Todd Bowles out, that's it for their defense pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And he was smart. He blitzed only 5 plays. And everyone came in, JT, you mentioned it earlier, everyone came in thinking that Bowles was going to do a blitz-heavy attack with the defense. But he, as Romo pointed out intelligently, he understood what he had with Mahomes, and he understood we don't have to blitz him that much. If we cover these receivers, he's going to have to run around, and our linebackers and our D-line is quick enough to catch it.
A lot of it's just a reaction of their last game. What did Tyreek Hill have? How many yards did he have in that first game? He tore them to pieces. I think, it was just as much contain Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. It's really just it reminds me of a Bill Belichick type defense. Take away their strongest weapon and make him play slow, make him earn those drives, make him go 90 yards. Don't let him get those, 40, 30-yard passes. Don't let him break out for, underneath route because you're blitzing and then Tyreek Hill just breaks off for 80 yards. Literally just contain them and then because once you get to that red zone, everything tightens up. And then you could do more man-to-man. You could blitz a little bit more. So I just think, the defense was perfect. It was perfect. I guess Kansas City wasn't ready for it, and 2, didn't adjust to it. And to me, that's one of the biggest crimes. They did not adjust to what they were doing.
How can you, though, in a sense? Here's the thing. How can you? Your receivers are being covered no matter what, right? Your receivers are covered. Your offensive line can't get you the holes that your running backs need. What can you do?
But did you feel like they even gave the running game a real chance in that first half?
They tried. Yeah, they tried. They kept trying. You kept seeing them try to go. They kept trying and nothing was happening. Yeah, that was hilarious. They kept trying to go. But the thing was, he could never get. They kept trying to. He could never get anything going.
But did they ever try a screen pass or like anything like just out of the ordinary to like
I think they did, JT.
I'm trying to remember.
Balls.
Yeah.
They were dropping balls.
They dropped some balls, yeah.
Yeah, especially those running backs out of the backfield. They dropped balls there, and they were crucial for them to try to establish the possibility of being able to stretch the defense a little bit so Mahomes could start going downfield. But also, Kelsey dropped. Dude, Kelsey looked like he mentally wasn't there either. He dropped some really easy passes from Mahomes that I was shocked that he dropped.
But I'll give the defense credit too, because he was never like comfortable either. Like they were on his like he might have dropped him, but he probably dropped him because he could feel the breath of the linebacker on his neck. Like, ugh.
You hear those hits they land on people, and you know one of them may come to you. That look, having played football before, let's just be honest. You see that on the other side, you know that you're like, look, I don't really want this hit. As tough as you can be, but you hear when we can hear the full impact through our television screens, or not even just that, the sound of the equipment hitting equipment, it just sounds like a car crash. When you hear that, you can imagine what the feel is like. And so Travis Kelce was like, I just did a pretty ass T-Mobile commercial with Anthony Anderson and his mom, so I don't want to. I don't need.
Let's not forget. Yeah. Kelsey made a lot of catches in that first half. They got down the field. Because the safeties were playing so far back, they had a lot of stuff in the middle, and Kelsey had a lot of catches for time there. He was the only one catching the ball. They had to settle for 3 field goals. That was the difference. They got into that red zone and they were held once it got tightened. Because, like I said, they were given a lot of cushion, but the closer they got to that end zone, the tighter that defense got. And then it just comes down, can you make a play or not? They just didn't make the plays. And you can't get field goals in Super Bowls.
You're right. They dropped the ball a number of times when they had a potential touchdown, as we mentioned earlier. Kelsey, 133 yards receiving, led the KC receiving core yet again in a game. But in the end, it just didn't matter because they were eating up the middle of the field, no problem. Yeah. But once it got to money time, they couldn't get the job done over and over and over again.
In the second half, it was just. Yeah. They were getting to him every play. That first half, they wore that offensive line down. By the second half, the offensive line was just noodle arms trying to keep him out of there.
It felt like a college football game where you're watching this guy being chased around. You're like, why are you taking a 25-yard loss? Yeah. Why are you backing up 25 yards?
You got the replacement tackles on the end who are not used to
throw the ball away. Just throw the fucking ball away. There's nothing there.
But the thing is, with this defense, the way this defense is playing, the way the defense was playing for the Bucs. If you're Patrick Mahomes, which we all know he reads the field, right?
Yeah.
You all of a sudden got rushes coming on both sides of you. Yeah. All your targets are pretty much closed, and if you try to throw it, you run the risk of it getting picked. So you got to throw.
Was picked twice. He was picked twice. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You run the risk of it being picked, and so now you got to
be off tips though.
Well, off deflections, right. The picks didn't come. Nobody just going in and grabbing it. It was the receiver couldn't catch it, and then it was an interception.
That's the sad thing, I think, at the end of the day with this. The real like people that failed this game, and I said that kind of up top, it was the Kansas City team. You have failed this team. You have failed the city, bro.
Yeah, you have failed the city. Yeah, you have failed the city.
What was that punter doing too? The punter was just
the punter was mine. He'd only punted twice the entire playoffs, and he was not ready. But yeah, you're right. The receivers
was like, it's how many? It's 100 million people watching me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mama, please let me kick this. Ancient spirits of evil, be with me. And then the ball just went whoop.
Yeah. Right at 30 yards.
You know what that reminded me of? You know, I love to bring up the longest yard every fucking time we're on the show. It reminded me of Brucey, where they're like, Brucey, go and kick the onside kick. He's like, oh, sweet Jesus. Like, that's...
Let's keep going on these StreamLabs. Let's see. Oh, no, one quick super chat here from Josh Mabry. Blaine Gabbert is a Super Bowl champion,
which pisses me off.
Leonard Fournette is a Super Bowl champion. Byron Leftwich is a Super Bowl champion. Who says the Jaguars can't draft? There you go.
But here's my problem. My biggest issue is Blaine Gabbert. You know why? Because you know who he was the backup for?
No, who?
Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's right.
I forgot about that for the 49ers. Yeah.
Hey, man, look, how many players do we see that they're riding the bench?
I'm just saying.
We shouldn't clown.
Colin could have been on the bench. He could have been on the bench.
We shouldn't clown.
Listen, let's get real. But Colin's not going to come back and look. Colin, look, there's two levels. You know this, Jay. It wasn't like people. You know, Colin was. You know, it was. Colin wanted a certain situation if he was going to come back.
There's 18. There's 8 teams that could have used the starting quarterback.
But I also think he wants it his own way, and they're not going to give it to him his own way. That's not how it's going to work. You know. And Colin's doing his own thing, man, and respect for what he's doing. I think he's having more of an impact doing what he's doing than playing the game.
I mean, I get it. We all look at it now, 3 years, almost 3-4 years later. We all look at it now like, yes, he is way better. He's a better situation now than he was if he was still in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get that. However, when you looking at everybody who's like, Colin can at least, and I get it, he wanted to be a starter, but then you were like, there are at minimum 8 to 10 teams that need a starter, and if you're looking at the quarterbacks they have in comparison to Colin Kaepernick at the time, he could have been in the league. Like,
right? It's fair, absolutely fair, totally true. Yeah, and you know, you gotta look at that as a situation as well. But I saw so many people on Twitter that said, "Oh, I don't watch the NFL because what did they Colin Kaepernick?" And they put in a Miramax film right afterwards. What? You better throw in all your Harvey Weinstein films. You better throw away all your Woody Allen films. You better throw away all your Disney shit because Gina Carano's on The Mandalorian. So don't be coming in here with your bullshit if you don't understand how you're also not being consistent in your points of view.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. My auditions are starting early, so I gotta run. That's insane.
Anyway.
Real talk.
Grace.
Are you rolling?
I do gotta do some prep.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.
Shout out to everybody, of course. Come watch Blurs in the Hood tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. Shout out to JT. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, later, guys.
Thanks, Winston. Good to see you, brother. Always appreciate him taking the time from his casting job here. We'll keep going here. We got about 15 minutes left. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep sending in StreamLabs and Super Chats. We're going to answer them as we go along. Let's see. The next one is from Charlie Brown, former Washington Redskin. Charlie Brown, I think. You can trust Brady to close the game. The closest I felt like that with a player I rooted for was with my Yankees and Mariano Rivera. Our Yankees, brother. Absolutely. But Rivera let me down 3 times. 2001 World Series Game 7. Yeah, man. Yeah. 2004 ALCS. That never happened. The Red Sox never beat us. And when he supported Trump. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, Charlie. Respect.
Which, again, I am going to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Why do we still have to let that go with him, with Brady?
What's that?
The hat.
Right.
Yeah, there was a hat in the locker once. Yeah.
And everybody was like, yo.
But you got to remember, that was at the beginning of the Trump, like, he just became president. Even Chappelle was on SNL, like, let's give this guy a shit.
I mean, we get that.
So he might have felt one way then. We don't know how he feels now.
And I think
if he came out today wearing that, then I'd be like, what the F?
Right.
I would be like, what the fuck
I think
that's
doing? The reason why people haven't said, because he has not said anything.
But much like Michael Jordan, he does not talk about that stuff.
But he in the last dance, he was like, well, normally I don't talk about this shit. However, now,
But he didn't go to the White House. He didn't go to the White House when they had that celebration. So you have to give him a little credit there. That's what I mean.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm just saying he didn't go. Yeah. So, all right. So let's see what the next one is here that we had. Leonard Kim says, question for JT. How do you feel about the Pats going into next year, my man? I'm alone in thinking that the Pats will be better next year, even with Cam. Draft picks, projected 60 million plus salary cap space, and Belichick said he's going to be aggressive in the off season.
That's how I feel the same way with that cap space. Now, to me, and this, if anything is proved to you with Tampa, the QB is the biggest question mark for me.
Yeah.
Are they going to draft? Are they going to go get one of these guys? Are they going to try to go get Garoppolo? I don't, until I see who the QB is. And what they pick up, I'm definitely feeling better than I did last year. Also, we had so many people opted out. Half of our defense opted out.
Yeah.
And I still feel like the defense didn't play horrible this year. So you bring back Hightower, Chung, like some of these guys who are the veterans, who are basically the ones. Hightower runs that defense. He's the one calling out the plays, telling everybody where to be. So the defense will be better. They got to get some weapons, and they got to get somebody to throw to the weapons. I like Harris. Harris was the one thing that came out of the season where I was like, this guy could run. Like, he is like a little bowling ball. He's just running through people. And now you put that with a somewhat decent passing game and the good defense. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I definitely feel like they have a better chance of making the playoffs. You gotta get rid of Cam Newton now.
Do you guys have anything to trade for to the Texans to get Deshaun? Is there anything?
I think Belichick, one of the things he said at the end of the season was we gave away so many draft picks trying to get Brady some weapons, and like they traded for the guy from Atlanta, Sanu, who was gone after a season.
Mohamed Sanu,
They did trades. I don't think Belichick wants to give up those picks, so I don't think they're going to get Watson because they're asking for it, and as they should, a king's ransom. And why? Yes, you'll get Watson, but I don't think the Patriots have enough picks and enough anything else really to be like, hey, here, give us Watson. The price is going to be too steep.
Deshaun Watson will not play on the NFL field till week 9, pretty much.
You think he's going to sit out until he gets
dude is not dude is like he's one of those players that are dead set. Like I want to go, I'm going, and because the GM is like, I'm not trading you. So what he will do, people can be like, oh, well, he'll be fined money. Dude ain't finna report to OTAs. He ain't finna do training camp. He'll show up on the sidelines and he won't suit up.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where he goes because, like, he is a franchise quarterback. I mean, he had one of his best seasons last year, even though they didn't make the playoffs, but they still played great.
I mean, Deontay Wimbush brings it up 7-9 with a broken cam, COVID, and hella injury / opt-out.
I mean, that's what I've said. I've said that too. I will say that about the Patriots there because that's what we were talking about the whole season was Brady on his own versus Belichick on his own relatively. And we always, and you and I, Rocha, talked about this a lot when I kept bringing it up. You have to bring up the fact the starting defense, the majority of the Patriots starting defense was like they opted out. Whereas think about it, Tampa Bay had their whole team.
Yeah, they did. Murderanta says, Rocha, worst defense, Liverpool versus Man City or the Chiefs. That's a funny little joke coming from Manchester United fan. I think the worst defense is Manchester United. How do you blow a 3-1 lead to Everton at the last few seconds? Better check your defense before you come for Liverpool's defense. Our issue, we've got injuries. You've got no excuse. We had a goalkeeper who lost his fucking mind. You got no excuse. So kiss my ass, Manchester United. All right, where are we at next? Just a little soccer talk.
I don't know, sorry.
Ranger Donald One wants to take us out a little bit and asks, hey, thoughts on Rodgers announcing that he's engaged during his MVP speech to supposedly Shailene Woodley? What thoughts, gentlemen?
Good for him. I mean, he dated Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick. I don't quite know what his type is. All three of those girls are very different. But yeah, good for Rodgers, man.
Yeah,
got Shailene Woodley.
Jay, they just announced they were dating. Now they're engaged all of a sudden. Does this feel like one of those Hollywood?
Not putting me in this one again. I said my piece.
Did you really on this show? I didn't know you said.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
I've already said my thoughts on it. There's a lot of you know what?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because we will see. Yep, do that. Yep, because we will see how long this one lasts.
I know what you're talking about, but we don't know. There's no way for us to absolutely know. So that's all I'll say.
That's fair. All right.
Amazing Grace.
F James 72 says, don't sleep on the Niners next year. Also, Rocha, really enjoyed you on stereo. Yeah, I was on the stereo app earlier with Brett Sheridan after the after show of SEN Live. JT, nice. We need to do one. Jay, I'd love to do it with you too. So let's make it happen. But do you guys think don't sleep on the Niners next year with Jimmy G?
Well, but is Jimmy G going to be there?
I don't think he's going to be there. I don't think Garoppolo is there next year. Mm-hmm. I really think you keep Shanahan because you believe in him. You know what I'm saying? You keep Shanahan as a coach, but Garoppolo, they kept flip-flopping dude for the last half of the season. They was like, you're a starter. No, you're not. Well,
To me, the quarterback position just can't be understated. It is the most important position in NFL. Like, it's very rare you get somebody like Trent Dilfer in the Bucs who just went with the defense. Or even when Manning was not lighting it up with that, but that defense was so dominant that you didn't have to worry about. But that is so rare. Those come along every few years, like if you're lucky. So for me, you gotta get that QB. He's got to be good. He's got to be great.
What if the 49ers somehow, some way get Deshaun Watson?
Then they're contenders for sure.
Yeah, but again, the problem becomes, they get him. But what is San Francisco known for now? You know, their defense. You gonna have to give up, like you said, Rocha. You giving up Nick Bosa, no matter how much we hate him. You giving up Nick Bosa for him. You getting rid of that heart and soul of your defense to get Deshaun Watson because JJ Watt is gone.
I was going to say, it makes sense because JJ Watt's going to go. Yeah, exactly.
Is that for sure? But there's some talks that he might leave, right?
Oh, he doesn't want to come back.
Where's he going to go? Like, that's huge.
JJ Watt can retire and literally go to any network as an analyst.
For sure.
With no problem.
Yeah, it's
true. Because he already got his other stuff he's been doing, his community stuff.
Yeah, but he's gonna if he goes anywhere, it's gonna be a contender. He's gonna want to, have a chance to get to the big game for sure.
He wants that chip, man. It's true.
Again, he's salty. He's just as salty about Deshaun Watson's situation as Deshaun is.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, do you remember that clip that they're talking about?
He was like, man, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry. He told Deshaun, you deserve better.
Yeah. That's a rough thing. He says you deserve better. That's a real.
When you tell you on the other side of the ball, and you tell the quarterback, bro.
He said we wasted one of your years.
I'm sorry, we wasted one of your years.
Yeah, that is a rough situation. All right, let's see what else we got here in terms of the Streamlabs. We'll see about the 49ers. I don't think you're going anywhere with Jimmy G. You're going to have to change the quarterback for sure. And there were rumors they were trying to get Matt Stafford over there as well. So, who knows in the end what it'll be. Eric Doney said, hi, John. Love everyone on the show. So do I. Only way to get Brady is by having a great defense like the Giants/Ravens and the Eagles, maybe. What team you guys think has a defense that can go at the Bucs offense next year? Buccaneers. I think a fully healthy 49ers defense can take the Bucs offense. Bro, I think pretty much the top 15 teams defense can go at the Buccaneers. It's who can beat that Buccaneers defense. That's the real question. Tom Brady is not going to get younger. So it's like, you can break that offense down. Can you break that defense down, right, JT?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's no secret. We lost those 2 Giant games. You pressure. He needs 2.3 seconds. If you get there in 1.5, he's in trouble. He's going to throw the ball away. Especially these later years, he'll throw the ball away before he gets hit. Yeah, because he wants. He's not young anymore. It's about longevity. I'm trying to think. I watched almost all the Bucs games. I watched every Patriot game and every Bucs game because I think except for 2 times they played at the same time. And there wasn't any defense this year where I was like, they are kicking his ass. Yeah. He has a really good O-line. Like his line protects him really well. Yep. So as long as he has a great O-line, man, I'm sorry, it's gonna be tough.
I think also the nerves, right, Jay? I mean, like all these O-linemen spoke about in the offseason how they were super nervous to be playing and protecting Tom Brady and that they took it seriously coming into the season because they knew if we stay healthy and we protect him, we could be Super Bowl champions. That's the motivation when you
that's the best motivation to have, though. Yeah, that's the best motivation. Look, you have the greatest of all time in football. We'll say that. He's the GOAT of football. There's no doubt about that. There's nobody that will eclipse Tom Brady as the GOAT of football. Nobody. Yeah. Right? You know this. You have the GOAT. You have a man who has made stars out of nobody. I always bring this up. Chris Hogan. Like you have the
man.
Yeah. Remember? True. So it's this offensive line. Your main job, as much as it is to make holes and help set play, is to make sure he does not get hurt. You even know, and you also have to understand that, yes, there are times he will get sacked. That is fine. It's going to happen. You are not going to prevent every single sack, every single game. That will happen. Your job is just to protect him from getting hit the least amount of times as possible.
Yeah. And I also want to point out, go ahead. You two were going to say.
I was going to say, it's very rare that you see him get absolutely smacked because these days when he sees he's about to get hit, he kind of bundles up. He's like goes down almost. He's like, all right, I'm not going to get killed. He won't do what Mahomes and even what Rodgers will do at this point where they will toss that ball with a second, even though they know they're going to get destroyed. Right. He doesn't do that. And I think that adds to his longevity, why he's playing at the age he is.
It's a great point. And look, Warren Moon played until 47 years old. So, I mean, Tom,
But them linebackers and defensive ends and nose tackles weren't all built like Ndamukong Suh.
True. That's a fair point. And Ndamukong Suh is a Super Bowl champion as well. Finally got himself
one of the dirtiest players in professional football.
For sure.
Yeah. True.
Bad history.
One of the dirtiest. I was like, yo, I mean, if you go win the defense, I mean, but it was like he would do stuff that you would like, wait, did he do that? You just blatantly see him step on somebody's face. You're like
on their genitals. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Stomping dudes.
Yeah. We'd be remiss not to bring this up. One of the things that came out of this Super Bowl as well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Two of the staff members were women. Their assistant defensive line coach Lori Locust and assistant strength and conditioning coach Marl Jafadafar. I hope I said that right. They're the first female coaches to ever work on a Super Bowl winning staff. Both women are in their second season, so they weren't just hired to be part of this, possibly with Tom Brady and get some. They were hired last year under Jameis as the quarterbacks. They were in their second season working under Bruce Arians. Other women in the Buccaneers organization include scouting assistant Carly Heflin and director of football research Jackie Davidson. So the closest last year anybody came, or before the season, the closest was the San Francisco 49ers offensive assistant Katie Sowers. We saw her in all through that commercial campaign last year with her as well. She was the first woman to coach in the Super Bowl. She's no longer with that team anymore, but this is pretty incredible having women be a part of this. JT and Jay, we are seeing this more and more. Women in the NBA, women in positions here in the XFL, certainly with The Rock's ex-wife Danny Garcia, and then you get women here in positions of coaching here in the NFL as well. It's all positive stuff. Seeing women be a part of these sports, and it's not token stuff. These ladies are doing good stuff.
And I was just to say, the referee.
Yes, I'm sorry, the female ref. Yes, absolutely, very much so. Fought to be in the position that she's in and did a good job last night for sure.
Well, here's the thing. I think again, it's long overdue.
True.
When you've had because it all starts at basketball. When you've had the WNBA for years, where you've had these coaches and players who are Hall of Famers who can take on some of the dudes that we tout. You're like, okay, cool. Everybody was like, when would it happen in football? Yeah. But we all were, people were hesitant, like, well, how does it happen? Does it happen on the field as a player, or does it happen off the field in coaching? Or, front office is front office is a whole nother ball game. Anybody can be in front office. Let's just be real. Yeah. But it's like, does it happen in coaching or does it happen on the field? We see it happening in coaching. And like you said, not in little tinker position, not as an athletic trainer or things like that. We're not seeing that. And so that is dope to have happen. Yeah. Again, when we start, I'm waiting on the pushback, because it's coming.
I was afraid
sorry, real quick, because there's going to be the conversation as these women progress from the assistant levels to defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, linebackers coach, receivers coach, becoming head coaches. That's and let's just be honest, at this rate, we're no more than 5 years from that discussion. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so then there's gonna be people, well, can a woman coach football? Like, yo, stop. Like, if they've been in these positions and watching and playing the game and know the game, they can coach it.
Listen, and it's a great point, Jay. And listen, JT, all of us have known very intelligent women. And, the number one thing about running an NFL team or being successful is being able to strategize. And ladies can strategize in life. So you've seen that number. So it's been ridiculous that it's taken this long. And Jay was right. It's way overdue. It's good to see them moving into these positions and being allowed to move into these positions, as we also have conversations about people of color moving into these positions. Women should as well, don't you think?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, to me, I definitely think the WNBA and with college basketball.
That's terrible. That's
you
terrible,
so petty.
That's terrible,
so
Chris.
Oh, man.
That's terrible, Chris. Because I bet you any woman would be better than Charlie Weiss. But go ahead.
But yeah, for me, it's like I see it in the NBA happening probably before we see it in the NFL.
I agree.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
because of the female March Madness. I'm from Connecticut. The female Huskies ran it, man. We ran it like 18 championships. I don't even know what number we ran. So, and Greg Popovich has had a great assistant. I don't remember her name, but like he got kicked out last year and she filled in for him. So like, I just feel like the transition here is going to be easier. I didn't hear about these female coaches until this weekend. Like, they weren't getting as much publicity as some of the female coaches in the NBA. Yeah. So to me, listen, Belichick didn't really play football professionally. A lot of these coaches didn't play football professionally. You don't need to be a player. Mm-hmm. Now, there are those coaches who are players, and I can understand with a player being like, oh, I like having a player's coach. Yeah. But it's not a necessity. If you know the game and you know how to strategize, it's all that matters.
Yeah, I think Becky Hammon's certainly going to be there in that position with the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no reason Swoops shouldn't be looked at for coaching as well.
Or Cheryl Miller.
Yeah, Cheryl Miller. Absolutely. And speaking of Cheryl Miller, if any of you are looking for a new sports documentary to enjoy, certainly the Al Davis versus the NFL one that ESPN just dropped is a good one. But there's a great one on HBO Max about the women of Troy. It's all these ladies from the 80s, Cheryl Miller, who played for USC, do yourself, and been in a massive success in the WNBA and beyond. Cheryl Miller, of course, getting injured, not being able to achieve that level of success, but certainly success outside the game. That is a great documentary if you haven't.
I watched that documentary, but it was only 50 minutes, man. I wish that thing was like, it should have been like 90 minutes to 2 hours. I wish it was a little bit longer, but it was great.
1,000% agree with you. Yeah. Let's see here. We got more. Eric Donate said, I felt like the Washington football team played the Bucs defense better. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. We came close. Heineke and did what he could, man. But we came close, man. We just didn't have enough in the tank, and he's a young kid. But we gave Tom Brady all that he could handle in that game, and that's all we're looking for. That's why I hope to God we find a way to get Deshaun, because Deshaun with our defense, you might as well put us as a Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, but your team isn't in a market. He's one of those kids. Deshaun is a kid now. You can look at him.
What you have kids.
Say? Your team it's not a market.
DC is not a fucking market. It's the capital of the country, Chocolate City, son. That is
not a market. It's not a market. It's not a major market. Let's just be real. It's not a major market. You have a lot of teams. You have a lot of players that want to go to these teams that are major markets because not only am I a good player, this is a good team, but they want the spectacle behind what it leads to. Because not only will I get my contract, the endorsements will come in more from those in major markets.
Weren't there rumors that he preferred the Jets or Miami?
Right. Yeah. Again, you can say the Jets all you want is a terrible team, but guess what? But guess where he's at? Yeah. It's New York. It's New York.
I guess, Jay. Let's go back to a super chat that came in here. Josh Mabry said, and this is for Jay Washington's particularly, thoughts on Carson Wentz reported being traded as early as this week. Bears and Colts are thought to be front runners. Yeah, Jay, the rumor was that they're trading Nick Foles back to the Eagles and Tariq Cohen and a pick for Carson Wentz and a pick in return. Thoughts on this? Would you want to see Carson? Hey,
no, you ain't even got to finish that question. Okay. No, absolutely not. Why would I want to see what Carson? Look, okay, yeah, we got the dude who actually won the Super Bowl in Nick Foles. Now you get us the dude who was actually drafted by Philly. No, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't really. If I was a Chicago fan, I wouldn't be like, "We got Carson Wentz." I would be like, "Oh, we got Carson Wentz. This will either go really bad or okay."
There's no. This is going to be a great thing. This is going to be. We're 500. We 500 or we figured.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great point. It doesn't move the needle in any way, shape, or form for the Bears. Maybe it's an extra win or two, but not really that much to make a difference with Carson Wentz. I think that kid is messed up in here, man. Once a quarterback gets messed up in here, there's no going back. Jake Delhomme is always the example I give you. Jake Delhomme went to the Super Bowl against these Patriots and had a real chance to beat them and didn't. And then one season later, he is throwing interceptions like he's throwing candy out the window to kids. It was nuts to see that happen. So,
I'm curious to see. I know Kansas City still has Hill and, all these great players and skill positions. But look what San Francisco, they had a lot of injuries this year. But when you lose the Super Bowl, man, there's an effect. The team after you lose Super Bowl is not the same. I'm real curious to see if Kansas City could bring it back or if they're going to just lose their mojo.
But I think that's also, I'm glad you brought this up because it's the mental mind, it's the mindset of the team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, if you go in and your team is 100%, everything's on point all the way across the board, and you lose, then I can see it crushing you. Because then you're like, damn.
Yeah.
You're like, we really weren't as good as we thought we were possible. That's the mindset.
Yeah.
But if you got a Kansas City you are not 100% going into the Super Bowl. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're going to tell everybody, yo, it don't matter what's going to happen. We still going to do this. You're going to tell this to the press and everything. But when the truth of the matter is, you are not 100% at all. And they were not. From coaching on down to the field, they were not 100%.
Yeah, but I hear you. But man, you watch that playoffs and you watch them against the Bills. They played the Bills 2 weeks ago and they looked unstoppable.
But again, they were not. They were 100% for the most part. Then again, you're talking about a team that went from 100% to legitimately 70-65 because that offensive line took them down a lot.
It's hard for me to. Is it that, or is it the Tampa just outplay them? Like it's hard to say like how much of it was the injury. Of course, the injuries affected it for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
I'm just curious if maybe those players on Tampa just had more intensity, more drive. And it is something to say when you won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Once you win one, even though you make it back to next year, that same hunger and drive just might not have been there. Whereas Tampa was just foaming at the mouth, was not going to let this opportunity.
Rocha, what did I say all season on this show? All season on the show, when people kept talking about
on the show.
No, what did you say? Where people, I said that too. Where people who were like, well, the Chiefs look a little suspect, and I kept saying the same thing. The Chiefs just have to win. They know this. All they need to do, said they're not going to play like they need to play yet. I said all they're going to do is lock in number one. Once they lock in the number one seed, then they will play, and that's what happened. And that's what started to happen. As soon as they locked in the number one seed, it's just unfortunate, which is part of the game, as we all know. Injuries. Injuries took a full steam ahead Chiefs team down to 65%.
Yeah. And their MO this whole season was they go down early and then they explode in like the second half or second quarter and destroy people. That's not a good MO to have. They've come back, but they would come literally. There's so many games where you're like, they're down 2 touchdowns. Maybe they're going to lose this.
They're down to the Bills.
And then it turns out to be 40-14. And you're like, what just happened? Mahomes just came out and went insane. I think a lot of people were expecting that to happen in the Super Bowl. If I told either of you Kansas City was not going to score a single touchdown in this game, you would have slapped me across the face.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's right for everybody.
Even with that depleted line, I don't care. There's no way they weren't going to score a touchdown.
It's the first time that a Mahomes-led team has not scored a touchdown, college or pro, in a game. That's insane. It's his biggest loss since I think it was a freshman at Texas Tech, but that's the first time he has not scored a touchdown as the starting quarterback in college or pro, and that's insane. And the only player to beat him in the playoffs twice is Brady. Tom Brady. Man, sometimes when a guy has your moment.
At the end of the day, it's Tampa won this more than Kansas City lost it in my eyes. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. It's like Ben Bateman, right? Dan Murrell has his number twice in the final for the final match. Sometimes you're the young buck, but the old lion can still fight, and you can't handle it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it's first double-digit loss in his career. Yeah, absolutely. And the other stat that Josh Mabry, thank you to Josh Mabry who did some stats for me for the show today. 29 points is what they won by. And they had cumulative, his last, all 6 Super Bowl wins, he had won by 22 points. So you could argue, is this Buccaneers team possibly better than any Patriots Super Bowl winning team that he's ever played on? Could you make that argument?
I will say this, in the last 5-6 years, he had more weapons in this team than he had in any of those other Super Bowl wins. Again, when they beat Atlanta, they didn't even have Gronk.
Yeah, he had established weapons too. Not even just weapons, established weapons.
That's what made Brady so great for me as a Patriot. That he would win these games with, like you said earlier, Jake, Chris Hogan he made Wes Welker a star, and then Wes Welker went to Denver and did nothing. He makes these people around him is just so much better. So then he won all these Patriots Super Bowls. They were all close. Yeah. And now you give him this team with a great defense and all the weapons. And what does he do? He wins the Super Bowl by 31-9.
It's almost crazy to think about, JT, that if you had a Bill Belichick who could get better players to be in these positions and not get rid of these guys or be willing to spend more money. Kraft has money and not necessarily need to be the alpha dog in the room, which is how Belichick is. Could they have gone on even more? Could they have won by more points? Could these? Because I mean, it must be frustrating to constantly win these games by a touchdown or 5 points or 4 points. It's insane to think about if there had been a more cutthroat coach or a less egotistical coach, would have been able to bring in some stars into these positions and kept them there.
One thing Belichick did really well also was he find players that were undrafted. Malcolm Butler, rookie, saved the Super Bowl for us. Nobody knew who Malcolm Butler was. And now he's going to have a really good career post in Tennessee. Yeah. And that's one thing Belichick does do really well. Because you're winning so much, you're not going to get the first round picks like some of these other teams.
True.
So what Belichick did really well was find these hidden gems. And this is what they said a lot of time for Belichick and Brady. You have Tom Brady. You just have to put pieces in.
Yeah.
And he will run the chessboard. You don't have to have the best chess pieces. You just have to have good chess pieces.
Yeah.
And Brady will make good to great. And you give a team like this when everyone's stacked, look what he did.
I almost feel like he feels reborn in Tampa. Like, what's it like to actually have weapons and not have to do all the work?
It's LeBron in Cleveland where he had to play his brains out to get him a championship. And he had Kyrie, who was, young. But those teams, you look at some of those Cavs teams, and you're just like, it's a bunch of spare parts.
In the comments,
then you go to Miami.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, Delonte West for God's sake. Yeah.
In the comments, real quick, Jenna James asked a question that actually is pretty, interesting when you think about it. She says, I wonder if not being able to practice in the Super Bowl field affected them too. Before COVID in years past, both teams were allowed to practice and get a good feel of the field for a week. Now with Tampa Bay, they don't have to because again, they're home.
Right.
I think if you ask the Kansas City players, they would say no.
Right.
They're professional
they play in a
athletes.
parking lot.
They're professional athletes. They played in Tampa before. I really don't think that was a huge factor. Also, this was, not like a sold out Super Bowl. Yeah, even though they got to play at home, the biggest thing for them was they got to sleep in their bed the night before. Take a limo or whatever to the game. So they didn't have to have the travel. But honestly, when you're at this level, I just feel like you're Patrick Mahomes and you're the Kansas City Chiefs. You're professional athletes. This is what you do.
Also, for everybody that was on social media complaining about how many people you saw in that stadium last night, it was 25,000. And yes, it's still COVID. If you thought that was some shit, you got about 7 weeks until you really lose your mind. Because WrestleMania is in the same stadium.
Oh no,
back-to-back nights.
He's gonna fill it.
He's gonna
try to fill it.
And Vince McMahon is going to guaranteed fill that stadium up.
Yeah.
If y'all thought that, because everybody was like the Super Bowl can be a super spreader event. Like some people, I mean, let's be honest. Yes, it was 25,000 people there. Yeah. The majority of people we kept seeing on cameras luckily had masks on. Now we know for sure everybody didn't. We know that for a fact.
Florida doesn't give a shit.
But it's Florida, but when it comes to WrestleMania, this ain't Japan.
They should escape from New York, Florida, man. Just put a giant wall.
What's that old Looney Tunes where Bugs Bunny is sawing Florida off?
Just saw it off.
But I mean, that's a super spreader. God damn it.
Mm-hmm. But also, Jay, we'll go on a little bit. Maybe you'll go dark again with your camera. But these people who are complaining about these 25,000. Some of these nerds in our sphere, geeks in this sphere, if you show up at Star Wars Celebration or Hall H while this pandemic is still happening and you're in there, then you are a hypocritical son of a bitch. That's what I'll tell you. Because if you're in there where they're saying only 3,000 people are allowed in here and there's cardboard cutouts, but you were angry about the Super Bowl, it's still a super spreader event. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, no. Not even just that. You're going to, like I said, you're going to pick and choose when you're mad.
Yeah, right.
You're going to pick and choose when you're mad because, again, if you go to any convention, it doesn't have to. You don't have to be in the hall.
Right.
If you go to any convention and you're not vaccinated, which by the way means you still can get it, or whatever, then you complained about the Super Bowl because everybody was like, I'm having so much anxiety watching the Super Bowl. Well, stop watching it.
Yeah.
I hate when people say stupid shit like that. I'm getting anxiety watching the Super Bowl, seeing all these people. You do realize you are not obligated to watch
hit the button. Hit the button.
There's a button.
You can change the channel.
You can change the channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Connor Pearson Ward said trading for Carson Wentz while Deshaun Watson is available is a lot like trading up for Trubisky when Watson was available.
Oh man, Trubisky was the same draft as Mahomes too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you not remind us of this?
If
please?
I was at GM, I wouldn't sleep for the rest of my life.
Oh, we knew that.
I know.
You skipped over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, and you were like, we're going to get the dude who wasn't even the best dude on his college team.
And I don't know if you guys remember this, but the Patriots could have took Lamar Jackson and passed to grab like a tight end. And I remember thinking, at the time I was like, listen, I don't know how much longer Brady's going to be here. And then I'm watching Lamar Jackson and I'm like, God, we could have went from Brady to Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
My God. What were they thinking?
I don't know, man. I don't know if Lamar can throw like Brady can.
No, but he would have. I'll take him.
Yeah, I know. It's true. Derek Blaney says Casey had a right tackle play left tackle, move right guard to right tackle, and replace the injured left guard.
Yes,
the Super Bowl was a wrap.
Yeah.
When you start, because again, people who do not understand football, like, oh, they just move over a spot. It should be easily interchangeable.
Yeah,
that is not the case by any means. It's not like when you have a tight end all of a sudden do a couple of plays at wide receiver or vice versa. That is not the case.
Yeah. I think the reason Kansas City was still, +3 was you're like, oh, you have Mahomes. He will offset that O-line. Like there's nobody better at scrambling and making plays right now in the league. Like even Lamar, like he'll take off and go for 40 yards, but nobody is better at scrambling and then throwing a 40-yard pass to Tyreek Hill going down the middle. So I think people knew that going in, but at the same time we're like, it's Mahomes.
That's true.
Like he'll do his magic. He just ran out.
Yep. All right. Let's see. We got a few more of these to get to before we leave the show here. Ranger Donald 1 says feelings on the halftime show. All right, quickly. The weekend thoughts, feelings, real quick.
Shout out to all the tethered folks he had. The tethered from us, all looking like that, and / purge Iron Man folk. Also, I get what he was doing. Like, look, to stay away from people was the smartest thing. Number one,
true.
He did this. He put $7 million of his own money into this.
Oh,
money?
Yes. What? The reason being, he has a tour coming up. He's about to test. It's going on because think about it. People forget the Super Bowl is the biggest audience you will ever be in front of.
100%. Yeah,
it's the biggest audience ever because you're seen worldwide. So you want to give people a show. Now, audio issues. If I'm the Weeknd, I'm like, I spent $7 million and y'all couldn't get the goddamn sound right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what it was. It still is no Beyonce. It's no Prince. Those are still the top 2 Super Bowl performances ever.
Yeah.
That Prince halftime. What's so impressive to me about the Prince one?
When it rained, when he sang Purple Rain?
That was great, but it's the fact it's like it was him and 2 girls, and that was it. Yeah. He didn't have 100 people coming around with flashlights. It was like, give me a guitar and a microphone, 2 backup dancers, and I'm going to I don't need all that flashy lights, all those. He's like, I'm going to kill this. I still just at times will watch that on YouTube and be like, my jaws is on the floor. Like, you're never going to top that.
He's the best. He's the best.
Yeah, and you're never going to top Whitney Houston singing.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? You're never going to top
Can I talk about this real quick?
All right, quick.
Why did they need the country dude with Jasmine Sullivan? Jasmine Sullivan could have handled that on her own.
Well, you gotta play both sides. I'm testing the NFL, Jay. How are you shocked? I could see if this is the BET Awards, you'd be like, why is the country right there?
First of all,
but it's the NFL. No, it wasn't. I'm just saying.
Because we've had black women sing before on their own. Like her doing America the Beautiful was amazing. Was amazing.
Right.
Jasmine Sullivan could have done the national anthem by herself. They did not need dude.
All right, maybe.
I thought it was a little weird when he came out. I was like, really? We need what? I was like, you don't need this. But I think, like Rocha said, they're trying to
play both sides.
Oh, like that bullshit Jeep commercial, like that bullshit Jeep commercial.
Oh yeah.
That bullshit.
Don't come after the boss. Don't you come after the boss.
Jeep, that Jeep commercial, Bruce Springsteen talking about the country is divided red and blue and freedoms and fear. If you don't I was like, man, fuck it. I was like some QAnon Republican, we don't need to unify people. Literally wrote that goddamn commercial because ain't nobody else in this country sitting there like, we're fuck all that, man.
All right. I gotta get through all these, Jay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't apologize. I respect it, and it's why you're on here, brother. I love your opinions. D. Munoz says, what pick will the Raiders be giving up after John G asked Richard Sherman to come play for the Raiders? Yeah, there's this tampering thing going on here with Gruden asking Richard Sherman to come play for the Raiders after a game.
I didn't hear about this.
So now they're looking at possibly penalizing the Raiders a draft pick for the situation. So where do you guys think that's gonna go on that?
I just heard about it. Listen, the Patriots have been penalized plenty of times. So it's hard. Like, I don't know. Was this caught on video? Like recording?
Yeah, it's on video. Yeah. So
I don't think that's me personally. I'm like, I don't think that's such a big deal. Like, these guys are going to talk after the offseason anyway. There's text messages going on like at night. I think if anything, Gruden was just dumb to be doing it on camera. Wait till you get home.
Sorry, JT. It was on a podcast.
I was on a podcast. Okay.
Yeah, he was on the Chris Collinsworth podcast.
Oh,
and he said he wanted Richard Sherman.
But did he say it to Richard Sherman?
He said, Richard Sherman, if you are a free agent, which there is a rumor you are, we are looking for an alpha presence in our secondary, somebody that could play this Hawk 3 press with the Reed step. If you're available, interested, maybe you and I can get together some point off air. And then Sherman responded. There's a conversation to be had for sure. I am free and available these days. Fortunately, unfortunately. So
Gruden, you're an idiot, man. You tell me you couldn't get his number or somebody knows him. Like, why are you doing that live on the radio? That's dumb.
You know what's crazy too? They be knowing somehow the league knows when people do that shit off air.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have we heard of them like, yo, they
snitches out there?
Yeah, like they were sending text messages to one another, and you're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Interesting.
All right, let's keep going here. Let me see what else we've got. All right, D-Train, just wanted to show my appreciation for the GOAT, one of the greatest players of all time. No one can deny this guy's ability. No one will ever be like him. No, it's not Tom Brady. It's Yogi Berra. He won 10 titles with the Yankees on a whole other level. Yeah, please. Were black players allowed to play when he played? Then I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, good point.
That's really it's always my comeback to that. Until I don't count anything in my mind until black players were allowed to come in after Jackie Robinson.
Well said.
Honestly. Deontay Wimbush said Mahomes, we said this already, but he's reiterating, Mahomes accumulated 497 yards off just from having to drop back and avoid sacks. How insane is that? Yeah, I said 475. It was 497.
Good Lord.
Insane. 500 yards rushing around.
You're watching him run around, but I'll tell you what, every time he did that, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was like, he hit 2 people in the face with a football. Yeah. Like they easily could have scored 2 touchdowns with those things.
When he dropped back that 30 yards for that one play, I was like, yo, he just running backwards. He just keep going backwards. I was like, he gonna be in the end zone. He just
and he's so good though at like getting rid of the ball, whether it be to a player or just out of bounds. Like he's so good at getting rid of that ball.
JT's playing playground ball. Yeah, he's just going to run around the backfield until someone gets open.
Almost said that, and Tony Romo kept saying that he is literally playing backyard football.
Yeah,
and you know what? I will say this as a Brady fan, as somebody who had him for 20 years, he wasn't the most mobile quarterback. But I liked that he knew when to get rid of the ball. I liked that he wasn't doing the play because that playground stuff, man, it could bite you in the ass,
and it exhausts you.
It exhausts you. Right? How many turnovers? Like,
too.
I think it's going to catch up to Mahomes at some point.
Oh yeah.
Like when he gets older, he can't be doing this. Nope. You can't be doing this when you're 43 years old like Tom Brady. So
who's to say he wants to? That's the thing too. Like again, Brady is one of the rarities. After a long, again, you brought up Warren Moon earlier, playing a 46, different league. Yeah. Brady is a completely different monster in the sense playing right now 43, and if he plays at 44, different monster. Yeah. You have players now. Granted, we know Mahomes isn't going to do this. You got players retiring after 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, true. You got players playing 5 years. Like, I'm out. Because they understand everything that comes with it, not just the physicality, the body injuries, but we gotta assume Mahomes wants to play. What is he, 22?
Yeah,
we're talking about him playing 21 more years in this league where players are getting bigger and stronger by the day.
And those mobile quarterbacks just don't last as long. They don't have the same, shelf life.
That's why if Lamar doesn't learn to throw that ball better, Lamar's not going to be around much longer.
Look at RG3, man. RG3.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's his backup. He'll tell him. Yeah, he can tell him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see here. Okay, Joseph Curran says, "Hey guys, good to see JTE on the show."
Hey,
as well. If I'm San Fran, I see if the Jets are interested in a Jimmy G for Sam Darnold flip. I know he has been great, but let's see if it was Adam Gase and the Jets ruining him. Hot take, I think the Chiefs might go undefeated next year. Hey, really possible. Remember when the Chiefs lost to the Patriots in that AFC Championship, they were determined to get back to that position and determined to win a Super Bowl. Being the hunter versus the hunted are two different games, man. So maybe now that they're the hunters, they can go back and maybe they do go undefeated if they fix those O-line issues. Certainly possible.
They only lost 2 games this year. So
2. Yeah.
If they get better, then of course, I agree. I mean, Sam Darnold is really interesting to me because you can't really take anything seriously that the Jets do. So I mean, he could be really good with the right fit, the right coach. I'm not willing to give up on him. I don't think he's a complete wash. I think put him in a new system and see what he does. He could surprise somebody.
I mean, he was out here playing for his life when he knew he was like, "Oh, you finna replace me and you got a backup, et cetera, already for me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show y'all what I can do." And that's how. And I don't think that's Gase. I think that's Darnold.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. They played well towards the end, by the way. I know everyone wants to crap on them, but the Jets were playing pretty well at the very end there.
Yeah, it's true. Tushka just showed up, our resident Casey Chiefs fan. Tushka, we've been doing this for 2 hours. We know the O-line was out without the Pro Bowler. We get it, brother. We get it.
Got it.
He gets, hey guys, just showing up late, just like the referees. Oh, don't stop. Stop. You didn't mind the referees when they called it for you against Cleveland. Stop it.
Listen, the referees didn't stop you from scoring touchdowns. You had 3 field goals.
That was you guys dropping the ball there, man. All right, let's see. Scott Welsh donated. He said, "Weekend dropped an E and gave us a performance that made us feel like we took it." Oh, very funny. That's good.
All right.
All right. Derek Blaney says, "I'm hoping my Jets send Darnold to the Washington football team for a first round pick."
How would you feel about that?
Fuck no, I hope not. I think that kid is, once again, that kid sucked at UCLA, in my opinion. He was He was an interception machine at UCLA, and I had no idea why people were crowing about this fool coming into the NFL and making waves. And so I wasn't surprised to see him show up for
I don't
one
watch
game.
college. I don't watch college, so I really don't, I just know what they say on draft day. So
that's really the same here.
Yeah. So if you say he's bad in college, then that's not good.
I didn't understand. Like I knew that Justin Herbert was going to be good from what I saw at college. You can tell. Like what's his face for the Washington football team? Haskins. Haskins was a wing-it quarterback.
Did he get picked up?
Yeah, Steelers got him now.
Steelers got him.
Yeah,
okay.
They took him. He was winging it around the field. I'm like, that guy's not going to survive in the NFL. We took him first because Dan Snyder wanted to take him. No one on the team wanted to take him, and Dan Snyder wanted him, so he did it. And in my opinion, those are the mistakes that you make. But I knew Justin Herbert was going to be good. I knew Mariota wasn't going to be good. And I knew Josh Allen was going to be good because the way he played in Wyoming, you can tell the ones who understand the game and play it a certain way versus the ones that wing it around everywhere.
But I think it's also
Herbert, man.
It's also depending on who they play against and where. Because again, what teams do wipe. I don't follow Wyoming, so I wouldn't have known Josh Allen, but I know Oregon and I know Justin Herbert. I know when they play in that Pac-12, they playing against hitters.
Yep.
So when you
USC,
when you watching somebody like a Justin Herbert in college do what he did, and you're like, he's gonna have he'll have a good NFL career.
Yeah,
he understands. You see all these mechanics, but then you get other quarterbacks. You're like, well, they're a good quarterback, but against the teams they were playing. So, that's one thing you got to take. That's like people who come out the SEC. When people come out the SEC, you're like, you are pretty much NFL ready. Until you see some things, then you're like, oh, you actually weren't. Sorry.
College is just so so many players who've come out of college that are going to be the next great quarterback or receiver, a running back, and they just come to NFL. And I've seen too many times where they just don't live up to the hype. So I wonder if college is really a great testament to what they're going to be in NFL. Everyone's saying Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next, Brady / Manning Rodgers.
I don't know.
Who knows? The guy could come in and just be awful.
Yeah,
but he's
true.
going to Jacksonville, so we'll see what he does. There's no way they're not taking the number one.
No, mullets are good in Florida. Jenna James says Washington football team would be better off drafting Mac Jones from Bama. I don't even know.
I don't know.
When's the last time a Bama quarterback? You have to go back to Joe Namath. No. Who?
Jalen Hurts is a Bama quarterback.
Okay. Rocha, let me ask you this:
one season, yeah.
Will we have a team for Washington? Will we have a name for the Washington football team next year?
Snyder, because he won't sell the team, the little asshole. He just wants to keep the name for now. He thinks he's going to wait out. I'm telling you, this is what he's doing because he's a rich little bitch. I guarantee you, he is waiting out the NFL and the public outcry, and then bringing back the Redskins name. I'm telling you, that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. I don't think he should do it.
I know he's waiting. I know he's waiting it out. He's not. Yeah, we know. We can all tell he's not rushing to make a name for the team.
Right,
we all tell him.
But I think he'll bring back Redskins
because they kept the colors. He kept the colors for a reason, dude.
Oh,
and I have a feeling he doesn't want to walk away from the history of the name. And I don't know if he's going to bring it back, but I just have a feeling. I know that he wants to. I don't know if he's going to be allowed.
Cleveland Indians will have a new name before the Washington football team.
Yeah, it's true. The Kansas City Chiefs might change their name. I saw that there were a number of protests. I didn't bring it up in the show, but there were a number of protests outside the stadium for the Kansas City Chiefs saying they got to get rid of their names and they got to get rid of that chop. The cheerleaders don't do the chop anymore. They got to stop playing that song.
Here's the thing now when it comes to indigenous mascots. They are literally, there are a lot of people now who saying, yeah, we found this offensive for so long and now we're speaking out on it, which is very much fair. But you have you have the Blackhawks who have had the blessing of the tribe. Chiefs is a different thing. I get that. Cleveland Indians, different thing. Especially when you look at the mascot, you're like, ooh, right. Washington Redskins, again, we knew that was a slur being used. Yeah. So those are happening, rightfully so. But it also starts going into the small minority versus the large majority.
Yeah.
Because if you have unfortunately, a small protest is not going to make any noise during a Super Bowl.
Right.
I hate to say it that way. Nobody's going to even bother paying attention to it except for local Kansas City news.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to cover that.
Yeah. That's true. We'll see. Let's see if that's everything. Oh yeah, Joe Smith sent us something, but Joe, I can't play a video. I'm not playing any more videos on this channel. Even the ones without sound got me dinged when I play them. I'm still fighting that a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs. So no videos on this show ever again. It's all going to be pictures.
YouTube's not playing these days, man.
Nope. Dude, Warner Media came after me about a post I did for the Blues Brothers 2 years ago.
You see Greg Alba? He did the Mission Impossible theme with his mouth.
Yeah.
He just sang it with his mouth and they took him out. I was like, come on.
Well,
ridiculous.
They try to do blurs every week.
Right.
I know how to get. I'm gonna tell you right now, and if they watching, it's the truth. You're coming out to black creators. That's what I tell them.
Oh,
and when I say that, my video is right back up for blur.
Oh, maybe I should say that. You're coming out to Latino creators. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Say that.
If you can say,
I'm full-blooded, son. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
There you go.
Yeah. La Raza Holmes. Anyway, all right. Let's get the fuck out of here. It's over 4:00. Thank you both so much for taking the time to be on the show. Jay, I love having you every week, and it was great to have JTE coming on for this first time. JT, did you have a good time?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows me for movies, I feel like, but I love sports, man. Movies are here, sports are right there. So anytime I can jump on, I've jumped on Matt Nose's show, Dropping Dimes, a few times. So I always love going there, throwing some basketball. So it's great to come here and talk football, man.
Well, we might have you come back then, man, because NBA is ramping up and we're done with football now. So we're going to start focusing on NBA, MLB stuff. So maybe you'll be back more often than we think. So certainly if you've got time, brother, we'd love to have you.
All I got is time, Rogan. All I got is time.
I know you told me. We're not going to out you, but you told us. But JT, tell people where they can find you and what you got going on, my brother.
Yeah, just JT Movie Thanks. I have a YouTube channel, but I'll be honest with you, it's been very scarce this past year because until movies start becoming a regular thing again, I will, because I mainly do reviews, but I'll do a video here and there. But check out that YouTube channel and just Twitter. That's about it.
There you go. Jay, thanks again, brother, man. Where can they find you? Anything got going on, dude?
Appreciate it, man. Always Twitter, Instagram, Mr. J Washington, which is right down there. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Blurs in the Hood. Me and Winston A. Marshall, who was here earlier. YouTube.com/BLERDS. The letter NTHEHOOD. I just dropped episode 81 of the Mad Titan podcast. I was hired in giraffe pussy in that episode, and it was me by myself. So trying to stay focused was the greatest thing ever. Like I was high and was like, let's just do this. So that's available.
Pussy. That is a gonna throw that into my bucket. References. I like it.
Also, reviews are on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. Batwoman reviews, WandaVision reviews. I will have a Black Lightning review up tomorrow because the season premieres tonight.
Yeah.
And again, because when I'm doing all this other stuff, and I got about 5 different auditions that are due in the next 48 hours. So that is going to be fun.
Hey, speaking of, the WandaVision after show, that Winter Soldier trailer looks like straight fire.
It's
like
fantastic.
The budget is insane in that thing.
Well, that's because they're
so excited.
Real quick, I know it's a different story.
Yeah.
All of the Marvel Studios TV shows are given the movie budgets.
Yeah. It's crazy. And it looks like, I think Wanda, because of just the way it's structured, there's a lot of effects, but it's like Pleasantville for the first couple episodes. And this last episode, you got to see some of that budget, but I don't know. Winter Soldier, that to me looks more like a Marvel traditional film.
It's a 9-episode movie.
Is each episode now? My question: are they going to be 30 minutes for those? Also, you think? Are they going to be?
Maybe. I mean, it's not even 9. Winter Soldier's only 4 or 6 episodes.
Oh yeah, so right, 6. So it might be an hour.
And JT, 25 million per episode.
Yeah, that's what I saw that. I'm hoping they're I'm hoping they're at least 45 minutes. And because WandaVision's like 22 minutes sometimes, and it's like I feel like it works because of the way the show is.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's why I want Winter Soldier to be a little bit bigger as far as runtime.
And maybe it will be, because now with WandaVision laying the groundwork for what they're doing, Falcon and Winter Soldier will connect to that and have to connect up into the larger universe. Loki after that.
Falcon and Winter Soldier does not connect to WandaVision though.
6 episodes. No, well, it's all MCU is what I'm saying.
It's all because the order of which stuff came out basically.
Yeah.
But again, Marvel is like, yo, are you motherfuckers happy now? We got you on shit, okay? Here's all these shows. The movies are coming this year. Because again, theaters are a thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy because our WandaVision reviews are doing really well. We just crossed 15,000 views on the one we dropped on Saturday.
Oh, awesome.
So thank you all so much for watching. If you're catching up on WandaVision now, we have done the reviews for the Geek Buddies with our special guest Emma Fife. 1 and 2 is one video. 3 is one video, 4 is one video. We just dropped 5, as I said, and people are finding us and catching on to how we're breaking it down. We did an hour we did 2 hours on this last episode.
Wow.
There was so much to break down and discuss and explore. You got 4 people on the show. They're going to talk a lot, and that's how it goes. But trust me, if you haven't done them yet, please come and enjoy our reviews. Thank you all so much for watching. Please follow Jay Wash, everything he's doing. Follow JTE and everything he's got going on as well. My faction mate in the Finstock Exchange. We got some plans for this year. We got some plans. But follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Also, leave a comment down below and leave a like. I didn't push likes too hard because I was enjoying the conversation over these last 2 hours. It flew by, but please hit that like button. It's really important. And share the video on your social media. Other people who enjoy sports are talking about the Super Bowl. Maybe they'll jump on and watch our show as well and come aboard the Game Time crew and aboard the Game Time train and come with us every week for sure. Don't forget Impolite Truths on Thursday night. New Jedi Way, probably live going on Wednesday night as well. And the Geek Buddies coming up on Wednesday, and tomorrow the Outlaw Nation show as well. Trying to land me a good guest for that tomorrow night, so pay attention for that overall. All right, that's it. We're out of here. Take care of yourselves. Practice social distancing. Wear your mask, and come back and join us next week for another brand new live episode of Game Time. Peace.